This game and the streaming broadcast rights to this game are the sole and exclusive property of the WPIAL. Any broadcast of this game is intended exclusively for the benefit of the North Catholic Sports Network audience. Any use, rebroadcast, or distribution of this broadcast without the express written consent of the WPIAL is prohibited.
High School Sports Network is the official video and audio streaming partner of the WPIAL. We broadcast over 2,000 sporting events each year and cover 17 sports in over 170 schools. At HSSN, you'll find the latest in high school sports news, live and archive broadcasts, scores, standings, and much more. Trib Live High School Sports Network, your high school sports leader. All season, every season.
Coming to you live from Mo Rubenstein Stadium at Ambridge High School for this Class 3A matchup between the North Catholic Trojans and the Ambridge Bridgers. Hello and welcome inside the stadium. My name is Alex Brown.
And I'm Ryan Bear.
And we are your hosts for the first ever installment of the Trojan Game Day show. And we are proud to bring it to you live on the North Catholic Sports Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. We are in front of the Trojan Army, which will be here momentarily. In about 25 minutes, we will be bringing you the scheduled start of this game between the Trojans and the Bridgers. But first, Ryan, in order to do this appropriately, we must look back at what happened last week for both of these clubs during Week 0 of the regular season.
Well, first let's start with North Catholic. They had an absolutely demolition of complete bludgeoning of the Hopewell. It was a complete 62-0 win. From start to finish, they dominated that game, Alex.
And the thing is, Ryan, they didn't score all in the first quarter. Then you have 5 minutes at the end of the game that were cut off due to a lightning delay, and they said, we're not going to continue this game. It's up 62-0. So they did not continue the game. So the Trojans scored 62 points in 31 minutes in that football game.
And Alex, you mentioned how they didn't score in the first quarter. They scored 35 points in the second quarter, but I think one of the goals for Coach O'Shea this game is to get off to an early and quick start, because that'll be important later in the season.
It has to be, especially against this team. You're in Ambridge. You want to get off to a quick start. You don't give them anything to cheer about here.
Yep, and now let's look at the schedule for North Catholic in the upcoming weeks. Of course, they started with their game against Hopewell in a 62-0 win, but now they have Ambridge here, and they're hoping to get a big win against Ambridge today.
And then after that, we'll be bringing you our broadcast, same time, not in the same place. It'll be at J.C. Stone next week in an impromptu home game that will be on this very same network along with the Trib, which will be in accordance with for all of our main broadcasts this season.
And then they travel to Valley for a big game there, and then they come home for homecoming week against East Allegheny, which is another big game. That'll be one of the most exciting games of the year, as East Allegheny is a very high-powering offense that scored 42 points in their first game this year.
Absolutely, and they need to be able to perform in that game. That's a big game. That's their biggest game they play this season. And their schedule is at East Allegheny is going to be right behind them the whole way.
And then they travel to Borough for a game, and then they go to Southport for a game also. Then they come back for Deer Lake's home game for another one that's going to be played on the Trib Live and North Catholic websites.
And they'll go to Freeport, and then the next week, last game of the season, will be Derry coming to Mars, where that'll be also on this same network.
Now let's look at the preview for this game against Ambridge. The offense, I think, is going to come out to a really fast start, as I mentioned earlier. I think they'll get at least 14 points in this first quarter. But the defense, Alex, what do you think the defense needs to do in this game?
At least 14 points in the first quarter. I like that call. I think the defense needs to shut them down, just like they did at Hopewell last week. This is a team that they absolutely crushed last year. I believe it was 66-6 or something similar to that. They absolutely bludgeoned them, as you said earlier. But this is going to be a game where you need to start scoring early and often. And you cannot let Ambridge score.
One more note for defense. They played. Ambridge played against Wheeling Central Catholic got 16 points let up on them. So you got to prove, North Catholic got to prove that their defense is better than that of Wheeling Central Catholic. You got to have 10 points or less for this game. I think that's got to be key coming into this game.
Absolutely, and I think in order to you need to focus on the specifics in this game. You absolutely have to focus on the specifics. If you do the little things right in this game, the big things will follow. You got to do the little things right, and as you saw last week, there were some little things, kicks, especially kickoffs.
Yeah.
You got to get the kickoffs inbounds. That's going to be crucial to the field position battle, especially on defense.
And I think another thing that they want to focus on is tackling. Their tackling was top-notch last week. Hopewell barely got any first downs, but they're playing very, very good tackling-wise, and they need to continue that this game.
And absolutely, the run blocking will follow after you get the tackling. The run blocking is essential to having a good run game and having the offense flowing like how they did last week. Because the run was a main vehicle of their success last week.
Now let's look at the players to watch for this game. For offense, it's got to be Jack Fennel. He had 3 touchdowns last week, 2 on-punt returns. He's an explosive player, and he had 6 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown, so he had a great game, and we expect him to continue that this week.
On defense, he's number 1 in your program, number 1 in your heart, Joey Prentice. He's on defense and on offense. He's the safety on defense, your starting QB on offense. Last week on QB, he was able to get out a little early in that game because they were up by so much in that fourth quarter. They didn't have to put him in risk further injury.
Yeah, but you can look for him on all sides of the ball. Yes. He's a just unbelievable player, and he can.
And on defense, he had a pick last week. Look for him to continue that success on the defensive side of the ball as well.
And you look at Jack Fennel as well, as I mentioned earlier. He's just been an unbelievable player. You can watch him on special teams, offense, defense. He plays all those, and he's just the de facto player for North Catholic.
Ryan, I would ask you this. In order to have a successful first quarter, that's so important as we talked about. A successful first quarter, what for you defines a successful first quarter for the Trojans?
I think getting out to an early start. I think you got to score in your first couple drives, at least get 7 points on your first couple drives, and continue to put the defense on the heels right away and then never look back. That's the goal, because that's going to come into effect at each and every game, because if you get out to a good start, then the other team's on their heels right away. That's the most important thing.
Now, this is an Ambridge team that's going to be happy if they're down by 14 points at the end of the first quarter. So you don't want to get them anywhere near that. You want this game to be gone from the minute it's kicked off, and you don't want it to be close after.
You got to make it feel like a home game, Alex. You got to make it feel like a home game, because if you score, then you're the guys cheering. If they score, then their big crowd here at Ambridge is definitely going to be loud.
And you don't want that. You don't give them anything to be excited about here. But that about does it for the Trojan Game Day show today. And an important. Well, let's talk a little bit more about before we send it up to the booth. Like a couple minutes. Let's talk about what's going to happen after halftime. After halftime, you've got to have a good start out at halftime.
You got to have a good start. I mean, it's the same thing
in the third quarter last game.
The same thing that you talked about in the first quarter. Get off a good start, because that.
Alongside Mr. Sean Malone, and that'll be a first time up in the booth.
Yeah, yes, it will. I'm excited for it. Should be a great broadcast. We'll be having some interviews here with Alex as well, so we're looking forward to that. We'll have an interview with the coach and then an interview with the player.
Yeah, hopefully, it's going to be exciting stuff. We'll have live reports down from the sideline as well. But before we send it up to the booth, let's talk a little more about the Trojan defense. The Trojan defense last year giving up an average of 10 points a game. They didn't give up anything last game, as we previously mentioned. This is a team that scored 14 points against Wheeling Central Catholic last week. It was not a bad defense. Not a bad defense. As you said, you need to prove your defense is better than Wheeling Central Catholic. Even though you never see them, you need to be able to that your defense is one of the best in 3A.
And not only the Central Catholic teams. Central Valley is the top dog as they won it last year, but now they got to prove that they're better than Central Valley's defense.
And that about does it for the Trojan Game Day show. First installment, a little bit rusty. We'll get better from here. And Ryan, good luck today in the booth,
thank you. Always good luck down here on the field.
Yeah, and right now, all the action will be coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes right here on the NCSN Network and the Trib High School Sports Network. Coming up next, but first, let's send it up to the booth. Sean Malone, take it away.
week 1 of the WPIAL football season. We are coming to you from Mo Rubenstein Stadium on the campus of Ambridge High School. Your North Catholic Trojans meet the Ambridge Bridgers in this 3A non-conference matchup right here on the North Catholic Sports Network and Trib Live High School Sports Network. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Malone alongside Ryan Berry and Alex Brown, who just had that wonderful pregame show for us. The Trojans enter this evening's game after a blowout victory against Hopewell last week, winning 62-0 on the road. The Trojans hope to continue that pace here as the Bridgers come in at 0-1 after losing to Wheeling Central Catholic in Week 0 by a score of 36-14. Obviously, North Catholic for the past several years has had a very high-powered, high-octane offense during the regular season, scoring a lot of points every game. That's continued early on this year, and when Ryan Berry gets up to the booth from his position down on the sideline for the pregame show, we can talk to him some more about that. But I'll just try to set the scene a little bit for you tonight. Ambridge is a beautiful place for a high school football game. The press box we have up here is enormous. This is a beautiful field, and there is tons of rooms in the stands. We've got your traditional metal bleachers on the home side right below me, and all the way across the field there's just again metal stands going pretty far up on the away side, which might make the North Catholic crowd look small at the beginning of this game, but that's just because this is one of the bigger high school fields around. And I think this field is also unique. It's right in the middle, really, of the borough of Ambridge. Like, looking out from the press box, we can see a neighborhood. I see an Orthodox church spire and another spire as well. So a pretty cool environment for high school football is Ambridge, and we should be treated to a good game tonight, and the weather is also wonderful. Let's talk a little bit more about how successful the North Catholic offense was last week. Considering it was called Week 0, I don't think all of the AAA teams played. Actually, every team in AAA did play, but North Catholic has a lot of offensive leaders. Rushing-wise, North Catholic has 5 of the top 13 rushers after Week 1. Jack Fennel is 6th overall in AAA with 6 rushes and 56 yards. Jason Sickett, Chase Arrington, and Joey Prentice are 9, 10, and 11 in AAA, and Blake Primrose is 13th in rushing after that first week. And Ryan, I hope you're not too out of breath after running up from down on the field. I was just recapping a little bit of the offense that North Catholic had last week, and looking at the rushing attack. They have 5 of the top 13 rushers in AAA. What can you tell us about that North Catholic rushing attack,
Well, the rushing
Ryan?
attack was definitely there last week. Everybody was rushing it, seemed. Jack Fennel was rushing it, and then you have Joey Prentice and Jason Sickett making the runs, also the 2 quarterbacks. So they didn't pass it actually that much last week. The attack was primarily on the ground, and if they can continue up this week, you expect another big win.
Yeah, you mentioned not passing it very much. I've got the passing leaders here, too. Joey Prentice is number 2 in AAA right now in passing. But he still didn't pass very much.
Yeah.
He was 3 of 4 with 2 touchdowns and 141 yards. So that's more than
you don't
40
see that very
yards.
often.
40 yards per completion. How does he get that many yards per completion? What do you think it is?
I think it's just the big play abilities. If you can get one guy open, and let's say you start on the 20-yard line, if you get one big pass, then you're gone. And one big play does it all. Maybe a 7-yard pass, and then it doesn't take that much to get up those extra yards.
Yeah, and receiving-wise, who should we look to this year for those big plays? Because North Catholic lost some really good receivers last year, prominently Nick Maher, who's, I think, playing somewhere in Division I right now.
I think on the offense side, you got to look at Kyle Topinski. He had a pretty big impact last week as well on the offense side. And for tight end, you got to look at Daniel Long. He had some big catches last week, and I believe if you want to penetrate the inside of the Ambridge defense, that's who you got to go to.
And it's interesting that you bring up Kyle Topinski as the wide receiver because, of course, last year he was the primary running back. And now it seems like Jack Fennel is going to start. Chase Arrington's going to run as well. And Topinski is out there kind of as the wide receiver, a tight end type position. What benefits do you think Topinski brings to wide receiver as opposed to him back there at running back?
I think he provides a good amount of size. He's a big, very strong kid, and if he, I think it's better than running back because you need that speed on the running back, and Jack Fennel provides that. And Topinski's fast and he's big, so that really helps when you have it on the wide receiver end.
Yeah, just thinking, I saw him last year, and if you got him in the open field, he had breakaway speed. And if you're matching him up outside against cornerbacks and safeties, they're going to be much smaller than the defensive linemen and the linebackers in the middle of the field. So if you get him with any little bit of space, he could be gone for a long touchdown.
On him. If you've got the speed and you got the size, that's just a double whammy there.
Yeah, he had 1 catch for 75 yards in that first game. He's it looks like 12 yards behind the receiving leader, and he only had 1 catch.
Yep.
And that receiving leader was Quinn Kenny of Keystone Oaks, who had 10 catches for 87 yards. That's less than 10 yards a catch, and Topinski had 1 catch for 75 yards.
And I think another reason that there's not those big passing stats is because they're getting down the field quickly. Their drives aren't as long as you normally see because they penetrated the Hopewell defense last week easily and often, and that was just really fun to watch last week.
All right, I have a terminology question for you, Ryan. What does week 0 mean?
So week 0, I think it's the week before the regular season. It's not like a preseason. It's like after all the training, get ready for the season because it doesn't count as a conference game, and now the regular season starts this week.
Okay, and this is of course is also a non-conference game. North Catholic plays in the Allegheny 7 conference. Ambridge is in the Northwestern 6 conference. So a non-conference matchup to start the season here. One other team in AAA scored 62 points and also won 62-0, and that was Central Valley.
Central Valley, they're the team to beat this year, and North Catholic, I think that's their slice this year. They want to get that game against Central Valley. Most likely it's going to be the championship or semifinals if they can get that far. Yeah,
maybe it's presumptuous to start looking that far forward right now, but North Catholic has been so successful the past really every year that I've been teaching at the school. This is my 5th year at North Catholic. They have had a great record. They've made the playoffs every single one of those years, and they've yet to get to that final game. They've lost in the semifinals a couple of times. They've lost in the quarterfinals a couple of times. So these games are all, of course, about winning that game, but I think we also have to keep an eye on what have they improved on from last year? What can they improve on from week to week? And I'm sure the coaches are going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah, we asked that same question to Coach O'Shea because it seems like it's been the semifinal hurdle his whole career at North Catholic. But he said this year was for the year because they have a lot of veteran presence on this team, and that's always important when you're looking at a season.
Yeah, and especially some veteran presence at the key. You got up the middle, really, Tyler Primrose at center and Joey Prentice at quarterback, and, of course, safety on defense. I don't know how much you guys talked about this on the pregame show, but turnovers are always a focus for me. I think that's what has gotten North Catholic in trouble in the past, especially in the playoffs. So I'm looking for a clean game tonight. No turnovers, no penalties. That's what I'm looking for.
That's the key because in these games against teams that might be of weaker talent than you got to make sure you don't turn over because you turn over against these teams that are a little lower, they're going to come over against the good teams, and you got to turn these teams overall, get some interceptions and fumble recoveries, and kind of just get those stats up because these are the games you want to do that.
Yep. And we are ready to start. I didn't catch the national anthem. I'm sorry about that, but we are ready to start here, and it's going to be North Catholic and Daniel Long kicking off to Ambridge.
And I think that's going to be kind of a key here today also, the kickoffs, because I think 3 kickoffs went out of bounds last week, and so you got to make sure you keep those in bounds in play because that extra yards really hurts your defense.
And there is Long kicking it deep. It is going to be fielded and maybe a break. That might have gone out of bounds. But for Ambridge, that was number 4, Adam Fernandez on the return. Did you catch who got the tackle there, Ryan?
I think it was number 7. I think that's Gavin Commody there on the tackle.
Gavin Commody, a sophomore.
Yep.
You said some senior leadership, but where the underclassmen often get a chance is going to be on special teams, and that's Gavin right there. He's in my history of baseball class this semester,
yep.
So nice to see him get a tackle.
I was talking to Alex. He said he likes that class so far this year.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Ambridge lines up for their first offensive play. It looks like they have, of course, the 5 offensive linemen and a tight end. They have 2 running backs in behind their quarterback. which is going to be D'Aven Ivory. A quick pass out to the outside. Deshaun Harmon, he is tackled by a gang of Trojans.
Good tackling. That was one of our keys down there at the pregame show, is tackling, and they did a very good job tackling last week against Hopewell. Hopewell barely got any first downs that game, so they got to continue that up this week.
Yeah, part of good tackling, I think, is one-on-one tackling. But there it was like pursuing the ball and everybody getting there at the same time.
Yeah, I think 3 different guys tackled them there.
But Ambridge gets a 4-yard gain there, so it is 2nd and 6. That's a positive play. Anytime you can get, if you can string 3 4-yard gains together, you're going to get a first down. A pass to the running back in the flat, and there's that good tackling by.
Yep, there it is. Dropped him for, I think, like a 1-yard loss there.
And that, I think, was by number 81 for North Catholic, and I'm not quite sure who that is yet. I will get a roster and let you know in a second. Oh, you know what? That wasn't 81. That was 31, Daniel. No, 81 is out there on defense, and that is Robbie Kress. Robbie Kress is in there at linebacker, and that's who made that first tackle. Ambridge on 3rd down, and their quarterback is met immediately in the backfield.
Daniel Long just got through that gap right away and made a great tackle there. Another sack, so 3 and out so far to start for Ambridge.
That quarterback, D'Aven Ivory, had absolutely no time to throw there, Ryan.
He did not. I think I counted like 2 seconds there, or maybe even less than that before they got to him.
Yeah, I had barely found Kress's name, and suddenly North Catholic was in the backfield.
Yep.
And now a dangerous situation perhaps for Ambridge. They are punting. Fennel, who had several punt returns for touchdown last week, is not back there. I think it's Liam Straub.
Liam Straub, yep. And oh, it's a blocked punt.
It is blocked. It's picked up by North Catholic. They fumble it, and it's going to roll out of bounds. Inside the 5.
Chasing it down. I don't know if he picked it up before and out of bounds or not.
Inside the 5-yard line, North Catholic on the 3-yard line.
That was just, I don't even see who blocked that punt. I was looking more at Liam Straub to see how that play progressed, and I look back and I see the ball on the ground.
Yeah, so right away, North Catholic is dominant up front at the point of attack, getting easily into the backfield.
So we see North Catholic in the shotgun here. They got 3 wide. It looks like there's Jack Fennel in the backfield.
Yeah, Jack Fennel to Joey Prentice's left. 3 wide receivers. Daniel Long, tight end, lined up on the right-hand side. Prentice was looking way over to the sideline, getting the play. He's on the left hash mark, so as far as he can get from his bench. He gets the snap. He hands it off to Fennel. Fennel cuts on the inside, and he is
in for
the touchdown.
Yeah, right away, Jack Fennel adds to his touchdown score. That's his 4th touchdown of the year. He just powered his way. He ran 3 yards with nothing on him. That last yard he had to fight for, and he fought his way into the end zone there.
You mentioned Fennel being a fast player, and that's good for a running back, but sometimes you got to run inside with the big boys.
Yep.
So that was a great run there from Fennel. I think it was a 3-yard touchdown run here at 9:39 in the first quarter.
And although he's a sophomore, he's actually one of the most muscular players on this team. I mean, I look at him at school, I'm like, maybe that's a senior, but then I realize he's in my grade.
He's also in my history of baseball class. I've got a corner of football players, and we've got a penalty. First penalty of the game. Ethan Marsico, a senior, is trying to kick. He also has a completed pass last week. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, I watched that game. I don't even remember that.
It says maybe my statistics are wrong, but it says he was 1 of 1 for 25 yards. Maybe there was a fake field goal.
Yeah, I think he only missed 1 extra point last week also, so he kicked him good because there are a lot of times he got out there.
Yeah, he has 8 points on the season, so 8 PATs for Marsico. But here it's a little bit longer as North Catholic was called for a false start. Snap, hold is good, kick is up, and it's good. Marsico, that was a booming kick. That would have been good from close to 40 yards probably. And North Catholic is up 7-0 with 9:39 left in the first quarter.
That's a great start because last week they didn't score in the first quarter, and I said down there on the pregame show, I said they got to get off a good start. I know Coach O'Shea's been preaching that to them this week, and they came out there, scored in their first drive, so that's a great start. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going again here on defense.
Yeah, and there it was the special teams, like it came through for them last week. I mean, that goes as Fennel's touchdown, but it's just as much the special teams touchdown because they set the offense up in great field position on the Ambridge 3-yard line.
Yep, that was their job. That's exactly what they need to do, and they did that perfectly.
Daniel Long tees the ball up at the 40-yard line. He will kick off again. And that is received by number 2 for Ambridge. And again, he's met before he gets to the 30-yard line.
Tackled by Blake Primrose there. Another sophomore making tackles on the punt coverage so far.
That was Chris Ciccone. Was the runner there, returner for Ambridge. He is also a sometimes quarterback for Ambridge. But they're going to start with D'Aven Ivory. He has a running back to his left and to his right, 2 wide receivers. He hands it off to...
Oh, great tackle there by Daniel Long.
Daniel Long handed it to Cedric Seymour that time, number 1. And Long has really had a great game on defense so far. And it's only been 4 plays, but he's made some really big plays.
He got right through that blocker, and he just wrapped him up and slammed him down right away. Same formation here for Ambridge.
And let's see if it has a more positive outcome for them. It's going to be a pass this time, going deep down the sideline. It's kind of a jump ball, and it's caught. It is caught, and North Catholic is having trouble bringing him down. He breaks 3 tackles before finally he's brought down by Tyler Maziars. That was a great catch by Deshaun Harmon.
That was a great catch. It was a 50-50 ball, and the height by him there took advantage over there for Liam Straub.
Yeah, that's a great description on your part, Ryan. That was a 50-50 ball. And just to compare heights, Deshaun Harmon is 6'3", 210 senior. Liam Straub, we don't have heights for the North Catholic players, but I can't see him being more than 5'10", 5'11". So he's
like a considerable height advantage there.
Yeah, he's given up a lot of height. Let's see if Ambridge will go back to that. This time under center goes Avon. I formation. And there's going to be a flag.
I don't see a flag fly out, but...
I hear a whistle and I assume it's a flag.
There's a flag on the ground. It must be a false start there by Ambridge.
Yeah, Ambridge is backing up. As Ryan said, it's probably a false start on them.
The flag was blending in with North Catholic's mustard-colored shorts there.
It's a great description. You don't hear the word mustard-colored in too many contexts other than sports uniforms.
Yeah, with Pitt as well. Pitt and North Catholic.
And then, of course, North Catholic also has the scarlet helmets with that same mustard yellow outlining a Trojan helmet on their helmets, and then white uniforms with scarlet numbers. Ambridge is mostly gray here. Pass out wide to Seymour. Seymour's got the edge on Robbie Kress. He gains up a little bit of room, and the ball is poked out. It's a fumble, and North Catholic falls on it.
Kyle Topinski looks like he uncovered that one. That play was kind of a breakdown on the defense by North Catholic, but then it ended good at the end. They brought pressure with a type of blitz off the outside by Tyler Primrose. The ball got thrown out, and North Catholic ran to that ball after a 10-yard gain and just punched that. I didn't see exactly who that was, but great defensive play there by North.
Yeah, that's the second turnover that we've kind of missed who made the crucial play.
Yeah.
We missed the punt block, and we also missed there. It was someone who was literally diving out of bounds, and they just swung their arm up under that ball and punched it out back in bounds. That's a pretty incredible defensive play.
And you mentioned turnovers right before this game, and look how it started so far.
Yeah, +2 already on the turnover margin for North Catholic. They've got a 1st and 10 from the Ambridge 29. So
in the offensive plays, this is, I think, the second offensive play we've seen by North Catholic has gone 3 wide both times.
I think Ambridge 24, I would say. So this time they got to go 76 yards instead of 3. Let's see what happens. Prentice fakes the handoff, throws it to Daniel Long, and he's going to rumble along the left-hand sideline for 5 or 6 yards, I think.
Looks like it's actually might be a 7-yard gain. That's that tight end impact there, though. The big man who can run over people and get those. That just adds a whole other dimension to the offense when you have that good tight end.
Yeah, and Prentice has a lot of options there. He can hand the ball off to Fennel. He can carry it. He can run it himself, or he can see long, uncovered in the flat, and pass it to him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean,
that's the key to the North Catholic offense. You have all these options. You just got to pick the right one. Prentice, almost as always, in the shotgun. This time he gives it to Fennel. Fennel has some room. Let's see if he can turn on the Jets. He gets a good block. He's on the outside, and he stops and makes somebody miss at the 50. Fennel still going 45. Almost breaks everybody's tackle, and Fennel is inside the 40-yard line. That was about a 30-yard run from Jack Fennel.
He could turn on the Jets, and I think Amherst was a little bit faked out by that handoff. It looked like they maybe thought Joey Prentice was going to keep that one and do a QB sneak himself, and that allowed him that extra time to get to the outside, and he got that big gain. I mean, I thought he was down, and then he got another 10 yards after that.
He got an extremely good block from one of his wide receivers.
Oh,
but
now Ambridge guys looks like he's down with a cramp.
You said that looked like a cramp, and I would agree.
Trent Mcknight, number 16 for Ambridge there.
Yeah, Mcknight is wide receiver, tight end, linebacker for Ambridge. He does a lot of stuff for them. Hopefully he can come back in the game quick. It is probably a little bit hotter than usual for a football game, so we'll see it maybe if there's some other people who are going to have cramps tonight.
Looks like everything's getting ready to start back up right now. Let's see what North Catholic can do on this play. Looks like there's Chase Arrington there in the backfield.
For a second, it was just Chase Arrington.
Yeah.
I thought they might have been running a Wildcat. But it is going to be Joey Prentice with Chase Arrington to his right. Kyle Topinski in motion now. Prentice gives it to Arrington. He's up the middle. He's got a big gain. It's about 10 yards. And that's going to be another first down for the Trojans as Arrington is tackled by several Ambridge players out of bounds.
That's a good block there at the end by number 17, Tyler Maziarz. I mean, that's a great play there, and allowed him to get those extra couple yards and get that first down. Let's see if they put him in the Chase Arrington in the backfield again. Looks like they are here.
All right, another 1st and 10 for the Trojans. This is a pass to Kyle Topinski, and he sheds 2 people before he's finally tackled, this time by number 3, Benny Korklick of Ambridge.
Yep, he was Joey Prentice was pushed outside the pocket right there, had to scramble out, and a good job by finding that receiver in a tight window there. And Andrew Stevens made a good block there because there was a guy running out right at Joey Prentice, and he put that guy away, give Joey that extra time to get the ball.
Andrew Stevens, number 59, is the right guard for North Catholic. Prentice gets the snap. He's keeping it. He's going to run away from a defender looking downfield, throws it to Daniel Long, who almost makes a one-handed catch. And there's a late flag on the field.
Looks
we'll
like
see
number
what that's about.
74 and for North Catholic, that is J.J. La Quinta, and it looks like I can't see the exact number right here from the way he's standing, but it looks like number 30 for Ambridge. Looks like they got in a little bit of an altercation. I don't know exactly. It was Tyler McKnight, who just mentioned who went out with a cramp, actually. It looked like
I think his brother Trent Mcknight might have went out with the cramp. Trent Mcknight is 16. Tyler McKnight is number 30. They are brothers. And
number 16
Trent is back. Yeah, Trent, that was a quick injury timeout for him, so he's back.
So it looks like the penalty was against North Catholic. It looks like they're moving the ball back a little bit.
It was a 5-yard penalty, which is
weird. I mean, it looks like they did throw it about the altercation, but I don't know why it would only be 5 yards.
And I couldn't hear what that penalty call was, but nevertheless, North Catholic now has a 2nd and 8 with 5:33 remaining. They're looking over to the sideline for some plays. I missed the giant play cards from last year. I haven't seen those, yet.
It surprised me because I remember they did have those last year.
This time, Prentice gives it to Topinski. Great block again from Maziarz. Topinski almost stiff arms a defender to the ground. That was Deshaun Harmon, who had the nice catch for Ambridge, making a good tackle on Kyle Topinski. Open field. If Topinski beats him, it's a touchdown, Ryan.
And I mean, it's the second time that Ambridge been a little tricked by the play action there. They were worried about Fennel making another big run, and that allowed Joey Prentice to find that open receiver. And it looked like he might have been gone with that stiff arm, but good tackle there by Ambridge.
I think Prentice has already thrown as many passes this week as he did last week, as Prentice draws Ambridge offside, which he's good for at least a couple times a game.
Number 30 there, it looked like Tyler McKnight jumped there. We said McKnight a lot of times this game, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, there are two of them on Ambridge's team, so that might be a name you're going to hear a lot. First and 5. After that false start penalty on Ambridge, Topinski comes in motion from the left to right. Prentice keeps it. He darts up the middle, and his legs are taken out from under him. And he thought that he wasn't on the ground.
Yeah, he saw that.
he has such great balance that even though he saw his legs, like they were trying to take out his legs, he tried to get his hand, his offhand that's not holding the ball, on the ground so he wouldn't be called down.
And that's why this North Catholic defense is so hard to defend, because they have so many options, as you mentioned earlier. Like, that could have been a handoff, a play action, and instead Joey Prentice keeps it and gets a good, nice 4-yard gain up the middle.
And we have talked a lot about the skill players so far, but the offensive line does have to give you time to think through your options. And the starting line that I have down is J.J. Iquinta at left tackle, Justin Smith at left guard, Tyler Primrose at center, Andrew Stevens at right guard, and Seamus Straub at right tackle. So those guys are always important in the offensive line. And I think we had a timeout on the field.
That's what it looks like. But now let's take this time to look at the Trojan Army. It's a pretty good crowd here tonight, huh?
Oh, at the beginning, when you guys were doing your pregame show, there were not many people here.
It's the same story to Hopewell last week. They came like right as the game started. Now it looks like there's a good amount of them up there.
Yeah, arriving fashionably late, the North Catholic student section. What's the theme for this week, Brian?
It's the beach theme, so a lot of Hawaiian shirts and leis you see there. I got my Hawaiian shirt on that I use for the pregame show. Just trying to stick with the theme. They were supposed to be behind us, but none of them showed up in time for the pregame show.
Well, maybe they'll be able to get there next week.
Yeah.
The pregame show is new for us here on the North Catholic Sports Network, as is our partnership with Trib Live High School Sports. So maybe we can get that ironed out.
Yeah.
So in the pregame show we can have some excited students behind you. Next week at J.C. Stone Field. Prentice hands it off Prentice keeps it, and he's actually tackled in the backfield. That's pretty rare to see Joey Prentice tackled for a loss.
That is pretty rare. Denner Longway had a nice block on the guy coming from the right, but then on the left, someone came through. The left, someone came through unblocked and just got that tackle on Joey.
That might have been a case where the Ambridge defender just made the right guess as to whether Prentice was gonna keep the ball or hand it off.
It's definitely a guessing game with this North Catholic offense. Now we've got a third down. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to see whether Prentice has given the ball off or kept it himself. This time he gives it off to Arrington, and Arrington has a lot of room. He scoots around into the end zone.
Right there on that play, I want to give the credit to Justin Smith. He made a great block when the guy was gearing right towards Arrington, and he made that great block so that Arrington was able to get around him and get into the end zone. I give a lot of credit on that play to number 77, Justin Smith. So North Catholic getting up on the board early. I said I wanted them to score 14 points in the first quarter on the pregame show, and that's exactly what they came out here and did.
I was just going to bring that up, actually. And I mean, there's still 3 minutes and 38 seconds left, so they might even exceed your expectations, Ryan. And there is that 14th point. Ethan Marsico knocks it through for North Catholic's second touchdown of the first quarter. Whether you need a business headshot, family portrait, or you just want to remember that toothless grin of your 6-year-old, Dina Koenig Photography is at your service. Dina specializes in capturing the beauty of your family and creating customized wall art to decorate your home. Dina Koenig Photography is the official photographer of North Catholic Athletics. All right, it is 14-0. North Catholic, both of their scores on the ground. And they were set up by 2 turnovers. We'll see. Ambridge obviously is going to want to upset that trend of making a turnover every possession leading to a North Catholic touchdown. Let's see if they go back to Deshaun Harmon, who had a great catch on their second drive. But first, of course, we've got the kickoff. Daniel Long, a focal point you said was keeping it inbounds. He's 2 for 2 on that so far, although I think he might have been bailed out in the first one.
Yeah,
the player caught the ball
might have bounced out of bounds.
like very, very close to the sideline. Here is Long's kick. It's going to be hit at the 10, picked up by Harmon, and he makes a couple people miss. Met then by 5 Trojans at about the 25 or the 26.
That is Blake Primrose, and that's his second tackle right now on special teams.
Yeah, Blake Primrose, number 5. Yet another member of my history of baseball class. They are acquitting themselves well today. I'll have to let them know when we resume classes in-person classes on Wednesday. In case many of you don't know a lot of the rules of high school football, so that the ball went out to the 27. If it had been kicked out of bounds, where's the ball placed, Ryan?
I mean, it looks like it landed.
If it had been kicked out of bounds, I think they bring it all the way up to the 40-yard line.
So
right,
it kicks. Yeah, it goes all the way up to the 40. I thought you meant like where the kickoff landed. Oh, they're going back to that same play, and it works again.
It works again. You're right, Ryan Berry. Liam Straub with a dive at the end, lying face down in the end zone.
Flag thrown.
There is a flag way back at the inside the 30-yard line.
I don't know exactly what that means. Is that is this play coming back? That would be huge. I think it's a legal substitution on the offense. This play is coming back. Now that legal player downfield actually.
Wow, and that is just devastating for Ambridge. Ryan mentioned it as the play was unfolding. They went right back to Deshaun Harmon against Liam Straub. He's got that big height advantage, and it worked again. But unfortunately, it comes all the way back. That would have been a 72-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take over your play calling duties there. I just got a little excited that they're going right back to it.
This time, though, Ivory lines up under center.
They put Liam Straub back on the other side, and now they're going. Yep, they put Chase Arrington up against him this time. Put Liam Straub up against the smaller player on the other side of the field.
Yeah, Straub moved over to the left where he was covering number 4 for Ambridge. And number 4 for Ambridge is Adam Fernandez, who's a wide receiver and defensive back. And that time, they threw it up to Tyler McKnight. I think Harmon was taking a break. He just ran 72 yards for nothing.
Yeah.
So he's got to get a breather on the sideline. But he is back in this time.
But I definitely like what Coach O'Shea did there. He recognized where there was a little weak point, and he fixed it right away by putting the taller defender on.
This time it's a quick pass to Benny Korklick, running back out of the backfield for Ambridge. And he's going to get a few yards of the penalty back on first down.
It looked like he was pushed out of bounds by number 81 for North, Robbie Kress.
And that would have been second down. They just haven't changed the down marker on the other side of the field, which makes this 3rd down and 12. And now they have. We went straight from first down to 3rd down. Second down never happened. Ambridge with a tight end in there, a running back to each side of their quarterback, 2 wide receivers. Harmon, the deep threat, is on the left, but this time they go right. And it looked like some miscommunication between Ivory and Fernandez. Fernandez looked back, and I think the ball was already past him. He put his hands up in the air. I was like, what happened there?
I think it was definitely a misread, and also the North Catholic pressure was getting on him fast. I think they rushed 4 guys there, and he got a little flustered, and I guess he just messed up the read also.
Yeah, good point about the North Catholic pressure. That could also have made DeAven Ivory throw that a little bit too quick.
So Jack Fennel and Liam Straub are both back to field this punt.
Snap is good. Kick is away this time. It's going to be fielded by Straub. He makes the first man miss. Straub running to his right. A pancake block from North Catholic. Straub could go all the way here. He's got the kicker to beat, and the kicker can't get him. Straub to the end zone. Touchdown!
Oh, that's just a great play. Great blocking there at the end by number 70, Julian King. He blocked that guy, and all Liam had to do was get past that kicker at the end, which isn't easy all the time, actually. But the real threat to tackle him there was taken care of by number 70, Julian King. Great play. I mean, Liam Straub made a guy miss right away at the 40-yard line, and he just kept going ever since that.
Yeah, I've got that. I don't know what the official distance will be. I got it at about 55 yards. Straub caught the ball, and there was an Ambridge player on top of him. He made that player miss. He got that great block, as you mentioned, and he had the entire right side of the field. That's the third punt return touchdown for North Catholic.
I mean, special teams has been, so far this year, it's been a huge difference maker in these games. I mean, it's not often you score 3 touchdowns on punt returns in the span of 2 games. And who knows, it's only the first quarter. We could see a lot more of that this game.
And Marsico is 11 of 12 on extra points, which is fantastic for a high school kicker.
And he had the block punt as well, so the special teams, oh my gosh, making a huge impact here for North Catholic.
Yeah, we talked. You talked a lot about the offense and the defense on the pregame show. We talked a little bit about the running game and the passing game up here before the game started. I guess we should have been talking about the special teams.
Yeah, I mean,
is there anything you're noticing about the punt returning that is making it so excellent? 3 touchdowns in 2 games is quite impressive.
So I think at the beginning, it all has to do with the runner making the guy miss at the first guy miss, and then the blocking has been taking care of everyone since then. As I mentioned, number 70 made that great block at the end of that punt return to take care of the final guy, but it's making that first guy miss. I remember Jack Fennel on one of his punt return touchdowns last week. He was running backwards, actually, with 3 guys chasing him, and he did a quick turn around the corner and was able to just break free ever since then with some good blocking at the end.
Well, that's a really good analysis, Ryan. Make the first guy to miss is the responsibility of the punt returner, and then if your guys are doing their job blocking, maybe you only need to make one guy miss, and you could go all the way. Long kicks it away. Ambridge has got it. They're running up the middle of the field. And I'm pretty sure that was I thought it was going to be Daniel Long there with the tackle for a second, but instead it was Tyler Cannon diving in there.
He dove in there, and I couldn't catch his number until he stood up, but he dove in there, got that tackle because he made a couple guys miss there. Who was the Ambridge returner there?
Chris Ciccone, number 2.
Chris Ciccone. So he made a couple guys miss there at the beginning of that run, and then Tyler Cannon sprang in there at the end to get that tackle.
All right, that North Catholic defense coming out for its 4th possession here of the half. Ambridge has been held scoreless so far, but just barely, as they did have a touchdown come back on their last possession. Harmon is lined up to the right-hand side this time at the receiver position, but it's going to be a handoff to the inside to Benny Korklick.
It looks like there were about 6 Trojans tackling him there. Number 3 had a big impact on that tackle, Kyle Topinski, but all the other guys, you could just say the whole offensive line the whole defensive line got that tackle.
Yeah, that defensive line for the Trojans is, it looks like number 52, Tyler Primrose,
72, Dante
Prentice. 59, Andrew Stevens, and 31, Daniel Long. Pass, receiver in the flat, almost stumbles, but makes 2 guys miss now. Great moves from Ambridge's number 1, Cedric Seymour. He's going to get a first down for the Bridges. Quick feet from Seymour.
Yep, he made about 4 guys miss on that play. He's finally brought down by number 56, and number 56 is not on my roster
That's
here.
Seamus Straub for North
okay.
Catholic. Yeah, Seamus was a different number last year. He was 25. You can see him on the roster there at 25, now, yeah. But he's been changed to 56 this year. Again, thanks to my history of baseball class, they gave me the starting offense and defense as for what they could tell for.
And that initial of that play, that pass wasn't even that good. He had to catch that pass near his feet.
And this time it is Benny Korklick to the outside. He gets a good chunk of yardage. Looks like 8 yards, and Ambridge is moving the ball now.
That was great blocking there by number 4 for Ambridge. I think it's Adam Fernandez. He let that guy be able to almost pick up with the first down there. I think they got 2 yards left to get the first down.
And Adam Fernandez, just physically, maybe not the guy you would want to. You were going to think was going to make a good block on the outside. He's only 5'10", 160. But if you've got the heart and the hustle to block, I guess anybody can make a difference, even one of the smaller players on the field. We got another pre-snap penalty.
Oh, so this one's coming back
this
on North
time.
Catholic.
Time out.
Oh, time out.
Yeah.
Right. So I saw the referee motioning North Catholic side with 1 arm. I thought 2 arms was a timeout call. So North Catholic, that's their first used timeouts this half. It's 35 seconds left here in the first quarter.
A pretty successful first quarter tonight so far for North Catholic on really a beautiful evening for high school football, Ryan. Before you got up here, I was saying this is a really cool place for a football game. We can see some cliffs across the river there. I think that's the Ohio.
You can see a bridge as well. Maybe that goes into the Ambridge Bridgers name.
Yeah, their logo, I didn't think about this, but Ambridge is spelled out in the middle of the field, and it is made to look like a suspension bridge.
That is actually really cool.
With a curve going from the top of the A down to the top of the R, and then to the top of the R going up to the top of the E. That is a pretty cool logo for a high school team. Ambridge, and it looks like a bridge. Maybe the last play of the first quarter here. North Catholic up 21-0 with 35 seconds left.
2 timeouts in a row. This one's by Ambridge.
And that's very interesting. Do you have any idea what the coaches are thinking here, Ryan?
I mean, it looked like there's a little hectic there by Ambridge. I mean, one of their, I think number 4 there, who we were just talking about, was kind of, he didn't exactly know where to line up, and he was like running back and forth, and I think that might have caused the coach to call that timeout, but you think you could get it figured out while you have another 60 seconds right before that.
Yeah, and I guess probably a good timeout there from the Ambridge coach. 2nd and 3. Pre-snap penalty there makes it 2nd and 8. That's a much harder 2 downs to get those yards than it is in 2nd and 3. So probably protecting the good down and distance situation for Ambridge with that timeout. All right, now we've had 2 timeouts, so this last minute here of this first quarter is going to take about 5 minutes.
I feel like it's been a long second half of this quarter. It went by pretty fast in the beginning, and then it just slowed down as the scoring continued.
Yeah, North Catholic had a real long drive for their second touchdown that took up a lot of clock, but it has slowed down here. It's going to be a handoff up the middle.
Tackle there by Kyle Topinski, it looks like. That just blew up right from the start. That blocking was very bad there by Ambridge.
Yeah, Cedric Seymour had nowhere to go. He got the ball, and Topinski was just about to swallow him up.
It says Joey Prentice got the tackle, but it looked like Kyle Topinski got in there for it also.
Yeah, I definitely saw Kyle Topinski in there. I don't even see... Well, Joey Prentice is on the field, but he was on the opposite side of the field from where that play was, I think. And that's the end of the first quarter. North Catholic up 21-0. And in this break between the first and the second quarter, we are going to throw it down to the sidelines to hear Alex Brown.
Sorry, I need to get close. We're set up down here. And yeah, you're going to have to talk loud.
Yeah.
Apologies about the mics and everything.
That's okay.
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, we apologize for some technical difficulties. This is a brand new feature we're trying to incorporate this year. Good news is we got a couple more quarters to try it out on. Hopefully we can hear some of Alex's great insight down on the sideline. Actually, we're going to go there right now, see if we can get to Alex before the action.
Thanks, Sean. Down here on the field, it says 21-0 on the scoreboard, but it still feels like a very, very close game. This is a game that, remember, if they had not called that flag on that long touchdown by Ambridge, it would be a completely different ball game. There would have been no punt return for the touchdown by Liam Straub, and it'd be a 14-7 game. Right now, 21-0 to the other side of that. Much different situation, but Ambridge still feels like they're in it. Lots of focus down here on the sideline, and we'll send it back up to the booth.
Yep, and as Alex was talking, there was a sack there by North Catholic. I think it was by number 72 there.
Yeah, a really interesting point from Alex that 72 is Dante Prentice. That this game really could be a lot closer than 21-7. It could be 14-7 because that touchdown would have negated the Straub punt return. So North Catholic, maybe if they keep that in their heads, they're still going to be playing pretty hard here in the second quarter, looking to score a lot more and a lot quickly, knowing that maybe this game isn't quite the blowout that it appears to be on the scoreboard. Dropped punt, and that punter is going to be tackled as he picks up the ball. He looked up like he was going to throw it, and then he just kind of tucked around the ball.
Blake Primrose, another special teams tackle there, and he almost punched that ball out. I saw it looked like it almost came out of the punter's hands there.
So again, the Trojan special teams take advantage of an Ambridge miscue, and that's going to give North Catholic some wonderful field position on the 32-yard line. Prentice in the shotgun, Jack Fennel to his left, Kyle Topinski and J.D. Butler, receivers to the left, Tyler Maziars to the right, Daniel Long, tight end to the left of the offensive line. Fennel has now shifted from Prentice's left to his right. Ambridge looking like they're going to have a blitz. Prentice hands it off to the other way. Fennel is making everybody miss. He's going to go right up the middle and outrun everybody. Jack Fennel doing a lot of work himself there, making everyone miss and going to the end zone for a touchdown.
That shows that speed for Jack Fennel, but one thing I point to that play is a block by Daniel Long at the beginning of the play that allowed Fennel to get to the outside, which is a great block. And without that, Fennel gets tackled there for a very, very minimal gain. But with that, Fennel's allowed to get to the outside, turn on the speed, and get into the end zone.
Yeah, and it sounded like there were some people who wanted a holding call there, but you probably saw a good block. Daniel Long is big and strong. Nice when your tight end can block like that. He sealed the edge for Jack Fennel. Marsico's PAT is up and good.
Yeah, that wasn't holding on Daniel Long. That was just overpowering.
Yeah. Overpowering at the line, and then Jack Fennel with some speed. He got to the corner on a guy and then just cut it upfield, and nobody could catch him.
And the Trojan Army is making some major noise right here after going up 28-0.
And they're really colorful over there with their Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
We've got some like very bright like highlighter pink. I see a couple straw hats in there. This is a pretty impressive showing for an away game at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if this was to look like for an away game, I can't imagine what it's going to look like next week at J.C. Stone Field. Though that is technically a home game, it's kind of not a home game at the same time because they don't play. North Cal usually doesn't play many games there. But I think it's a good thing they get that extra home game because they only had 3 on the schedule originally.
Yeah. Maybe the nice weather has something to do with it.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool if we can get that many students who are going to be this loud at a game like in the playoffs when it's cold and when it's miserable.
Yep.
But right now it's still beach night, and the student section is loving their Trojan team with a 28-0 lead. 10:50 left in the first quarter.
I think they're also pretty happy. It's a 4-day weekend coming up.
As a teacher, I do have to say it's not a 4-day weekend. It is officially a 3-day weekend. Tuesday is an asynchronous day, meaning we will post assignments online even though we don't have in-person class. And there is a first special teams miscue for North Catholic.
So he was very accurate with his kicks up into that point. It's just one that he pulled a little bit to the left. Hopefully it's not a trend that we see continuing in this game because the first couple ones he had pretty good accuracy on.
And I think it might be in the NFL and college that you get the ball at the 40.
It looks like he's running with the ball at the 35, it looks like.
Yeah, 35-yard line on the right hash mark. And they've been tackling at about the 25-yard line for most of this game on the kickoff. So that's a 10-yard difference. And against better teams, that's going to be a big difference. That's going to make a difference in field position, right? When you if you're punting from your own 25 instead of your 15 or your 10, that is going to make a big difference. So that is something that you want to see fixed.
So that flag was thrown at the 50-yard line, and the play's going on at the 35. So I don't know what the referee saw. I mean, he's motioning to the bench to back up. I don't know if that was a penalty or not.
It's probably going to be a sideline warning.
He called it.
Yeah. Well, when he's like telling people to back up, I don't know what else it could be. I think if that happens again, though, it might actually be a distance penalty. So North Catholic players got to stay a little bit further back from the field. I believe they have to get behind that white line. That is maybe like 10 yards. Well, probably 5 yards behind the sideline. Ambridge's first play is a running play that goes nowhere.
It went absolutely nowhere. They got to him right away. Number 64.
That's Lucius Marbella.
Lucius Marbella made that tackle right away, and he got to him. And man, overpowering has been the theme this night for the North Catholic defense.
Yeah, North Catholic has really dominated, not only on special teams, but in the trenches, in the offensive and defensive line. Ambridge has had very little room to run the ball, and North Catholic, you've talked about a bunch of great blocks all night that have freed up their running backs. North Catholic has 3 running touchdowns. Fennel has 2. Arrington has 1. And, of course, the punt return. Fennel has 5 touchdowns already in 2 games.
I mean, he's going to be leading the Whippeal a lot this year in touchdowns.
Pass this time to Cedric Seymour, and he's still fighting for some yardage against Seamus Straub, but Straub eventually brings him down.
Daniel Long had gotten it at the quarterback as he was throwing it. I thought maybe we would see a tip pass or maybe even a sack, but a good job by the quarterback there for getting that ball off. And
3rd and 9 for Ambridge. Ivory runs in from the sideline with the play. Tells it to his Bridger teammates in the huddle. They're going to break the huddle. They've got 2 wide receivers. Those are Fernandez and Harmon. Harmon is to the quarterback's left, near side of the field. It's going to be a deep ball to Fernandez going against Straub. Fernandez got behind Straub that time, but it was overshot a little bit by Ivory.
Fernandez showed his speed right there, and he got around him. Just a little bit overthrown there by Ivory. And now comes on the punt team again.
And this has been a problem for Ambridge. Their punts have resulted in a blocked punt, a dropped snap, and
a punt return touchdown.
Punt return touchdown. Those are the only 3 punts that they've had. So they've yet to really have a successful punt. Let's see if this time it can happen. Ryan Conover is the punter. He catches it, gets it off this time. It's a short kick.
Oh, that's interference. Yeah, there it is.
Ryan, you called that. Ambridge looked like they landed on the ball, but they had a defensive player run into Jack Fennel before he had a chance to catch the ball, and that's going to be a penalty. So Ambridge, again, the positive plays for Ambridge, unfortunately, being taken back because of penalties.
Yeah, I don't know what these Ambridge fans are complaining about. That was blatant interference. He ran right into Jack Fennel before the ball even got to him.
I mean, it could have been more obvious. Fennel, as you said, is strong. He took that nudge, and it didn't look like it barely moved him. But you could tell he moved, and anytime you get hit trying to catch a punt that's turning over like that is hard to catch. It's going to make it hard to catch the ball. So North Catholic is going to end up with the football here.
It sounds like the Ambridge coach is saying that it was a live ball, and that's why he wanted it. But to me, that looked like the ball was still in the air when he got the contact right into Fennel there.
So the coach is arguing that Fennel touched the ball and then got ran into.
Yeah, but didn't it look like he got ran into before it got to him?
Yeah, I agree. But you can also see the position of the Ambridge coach. Your team is down 28-0. This is the second good play that you've had taken back because of penalties. North Catholic maybe a little overambitious on that punt return. Just that was a short punt. Maybe just let it hit.
Yeah.
Take some decent field position. You don't want to risk getting the ball popped out when you get hit quickly. Prentice, quick pass. This time it is to Liam Straub. He makes the guy miss. And he almost made another guy miss. I love watching Liam run because it looks like he is barely moving, and yet he's just like sifting his way downfield through the other team.
That was a good play call there by Coach O'Shea. It's the first one they've really had like that. That's a quick pass right to the side, and Liam Straub was able to turn that upfield for a really nice gain. 2nd and 1 here.
Yeah, 9-yard gain for Liam Straub. 4 wide receivers now for North Catholic. They haven't gone to 4 wide receivers for a while. I mean,
just about to mention that. Good call there.
Yeah, no tight end in the game.
It looked like Ambridge jumped there.
What is Joey Prentice doing to get Ambridge to jump offside, Ryan? What do you think?
I mean, it has to be something. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to get extra sharp because the offensive line of North Catholic has been dominating. They want to get that extra jump. I mean, they're down 28-0. They want to see what they can do, cause a sack or get some energy for their team. But so far, it's just resulted in penalties.
Yeah, I know that Mr. Lyles, who will probably be back with us at some point, he kind of hit something with the count and the way that Prentice calls for the ball. Sometimes it's a fake, sometimes it's not. Prentice keeps it, shovels it to Topinski. Topinski's got a lot of room to run. He gets to the outside and barrels through a couple defenders. He's going to get a first down inside the 20-yard line.
So there's that option play that North Catholic can run. He could have handed it off, ran it himself, but he decided he saw the pressure running towards him. He flipped it out to Topinski for a very nice gain there.
Yeah, another first down on the ground for North Catholic as we get just about 8 minutes left here in the second quarter. North Catholic, already up 28-0, is driving again. Prentice looking to pass.
Oh, he's got
Rolling
Liam
to his
Straub.
left. He sees that was going to be Chase Arrington was wide open, but that's a tough throw for Prentice. He's moving to his left. He's got to throw across his body. He left it a little bit short in the throw to Chase Arrington.
Yeah, that is a tough throw. He also had a Liam Straub looked like an open run in the end zone. He was calling for it, but it's just so many options, and he was running to the left, so it's hard to actually even throw back to his right. So he had 2 tough options there. 4 wide again for North Catholic.
Yeah, they've gone with that almost this whole possession. Those wide receivers are Tyler Maziarz, Liam Straub to the right, Kyle Topinski, J.D. Butler to the left, and yet another false start. It looked like Tyler
I think
McKnight.
I saw what happened there. It looks like Joey Prentice clapped with his hands, and as soon as he did that, the Ambridge player jumped and came off sides.
I wonder if they could track that stat, offsides drawn, because Prentice has already got 15 yards for North Catholic just by drawing Ambridge offside. Still 4 wide receivers. Arrington in the backfield with Prentice. Prentice going to his left. It looks like an option play. Prentice is going to keep it. He's going to sprint for the left corner of the end zone, and he is in.
That's just some great blocking there. 74 J.J. LaQuinte had that block to let him get in the end zone. That's that option play again, because he could have flipped that one out. I believe it was Chase Arrington who was running to the left of him. He saw the end zone, and I could see what exactly he was looking at. He was looking at the corner of that post in the end zone, and he went right to it, and that's where he got in.
Yeah, from our vantage point, we could just see the gap.
See the gap, yep.
And Prentice was certainly fast enough to get there.
He showed that extra burst of speed that a lot of players on his North Catholic team have.
And Marsico is now 5 for 5 on PA. Oh, no, was that one good?
It looked like it went through the uprights. They haven't changed the score, but if it is in fact good, North Catholic has tied their first half total from last week with 35 points. They haven't changed it, so I mean, what
it sure looked good from here, but maybe it was not good. Maybe we need to pay more attention to the game. You said that they had 35 points in the first half, but they didn't score any points in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that second quarter that they had.
Did a lot of those punt returns happen in the second quarter?
Yes, I believe 2 of them did with Jack Fennel.
Yeah, so we'll go to Noah's camera if you want to be on the field for the
So I guess that must have been a missed PAT from Marsico. 34-0 is the North Catholic lead.
Yeah, I don't know how we missed that. It looked like it was good, and maybe just the angle that we're looking at it here from.
Yeah, it is hard from any press box to tell whether the PAT is good just because of the angle. Long kicks it off. This one looks like it's going to stay in bounds. It is picked up by Ambridge.
There's a flag on the play, thrown around the 43-yard line. Don't know exactly what that is for.
We've had a lot of flags tonight, Ryan.
Yes, there is. That is a little bit. That makes the game a little bit slower, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. Right now, the action in this second quarter, a lot of it is on the Ambridge side of the field with the North Catholic offense driving the ball, and Ambridge kind of stuck on their own side of the field. That's right in front of the Trojan Army out there in their beach gear. I wonder how that. I wonder if that crowd is impacting the team at all. We'll have to. Maybe if we can get Alex a question out there, see if he can tell any noticeable noise from the fans who are all the way across the field from us.
Yeah, we could. I bet we could do that, huh? Or even I don't see Alex down there on the sideline. Is he behind the bench or? Oh, whatever it is, North Catholic's got a first down. It looks like.
Well, it's going to be first down for Ambridge.
Ambridge,
and Ambridge walked backwards there. So it was going to. It's some sort of penalty on Ambridge, maybe some sort of illegal block, just based on where the flag was thrown. First and 10, 7:52 left. Quick pass, and wow, what a move there! That's going to be Cedric Seymour, and he's got the line. He just ran out of bounds, though. He is a really slippery player, Ryan.
He is a really fast. Those smaller players, you see it a lot with them, being able to get off the ball real fast and make that quick move. And he is finally forced out there by number 51 on North, Tyler Cannon.
Yeah, he just made someone miss really, really easily in the backfield, and he's done that a couple times tonight. This Ambridge team has some really good skill position players. Cedric Seymour has impressed me tonight, and Deshaun Harmon is a real deep threat on the outside.
Yeah, they've got some speedy players. They just announced this at Ambridge first down. We haven't seen one of those in a while, it feels like.
Yeah, I think the last one was probably the deep ball to Harmon on their second possession.
So that make it only their second first down this game?
Yeah, I think it was only their second first down. This time a handoff to Benny Korklick. He's got some room on the outside as well. Makes one person miss. Gets around Liam Straub. But from the back, that's Daniel Long. His motor never stops from his defensive line position. Makes the tackle more than 10 yards downfield.
Yeah, it looked like Gavin Camudi had him by the ankle. They were number 7 for North, but then he was able to get out of that. And then he actually broke another tackle. Was it by Liam Straub, you said?
Yeah, I think he got just around Straub, but Straub slowed him down enough that Long was able to catch him from behind. Handoff there for Ambridge. And that handoff on first down goes nowhere. It goes right into the teeth of the Trojan defense.
They can absolutely get nothing going here. I mean, it feels like every time they try to run the ball, it's just taken up right away by the Trojan D-line and the linebackers, just getting in every single gap, not allowing them to get anything. I mean, their only plays that they've gone first downs off or a good amount of yards off of have been pass plays to the outside.
And I think maybe one run to the outside, up the middle. The Trojans
it's just getting ate up every time.
Yeah, the Trojans have given the Bridgers no room. And we have a beach ball loose, I think, in the student section. I love that tradition at any sporting event.
Yep. Student sections are always fun to just watch during the game because they do all different chances.
Someone has run to the top of the bleachers and has hit the beach ball down.
And they missed the student section completely.
Missed the student section completely. Deep pass with a pump fake. Arrington is doing a great job defending Harmon on that play.
So I think that's just Ambridge trying to get that big play, get something going for halftime. Because that was double coverage there. He's covered by both Commody and Arrington, two of the speediest players on the North Catholic defense here. I mean, that's just looking for anything, throwing up a prayer, because nothing else is working for Ambridge.
And I think Arrington looks like a pretty physical corner from what I've seen. He is getting right up next to Harmon, getting his hands on him a little bit, kind of pushing the boundaries of what you can do. And that's, I think, taken away Harmon's speed and his jumping ability.
Definitely. That was a great play, a great call by Coach O'Shea to switch up Liam and Chase Arrington there.
We got still a 3rd and 10. Ivory passing. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket. He tries to run forward, and he's going to be stood up for a just about a 1.5 yard loss, and that's going to bring up 4th down for Ambridge.
So Daniel Long, he came out around the outside on that play, and he forced the quarterback there to run into all the pressure, and he just got eaten up. So Daniel Long is one of the biggest impacts on defense right now for North, and I give him my player of the game right now on defense at least.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. He's had a great defensive game. It's hard to ignore what some of the players on offense. There have been so many people who have done good things. It's hard to single out any specific one of them, whereas we've called Daniel Long's name a lot. And
another bad snap.
Yeah, bad snap, but a nice job to get the kickoff. We got some cheers, I think, from Ambridge, and the way that was kicked, it's going to roll all the way inside the 20-yard line, and one of the Ambridge players, that was number 2 for them, Chris Saccone, was just trying to waft the ball forward.
Yeah, I saw that.
With some air. That was pretty funny.
It looks like that cheers are coming from the Ambridge student section over there. I finally noticed them. That's like one of the first times they've been cheering, and it was actually not from a scoring play. It was from a punt that actually got past the Trojan blocking team.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Ambridge student section, we can't really see from our vantage point up here unless we lean way out of the window. But
My head's almost out the window
there's
looking
a
at
lot
that.
of people there in that student section. This is a really well-attended game for this earlier in the season. Or maybe I've just forgotten what a game with a lot of fans looks like after last year.
Yeah.
Was so weird with all the attendance restrictions. Prentice, quick pass to Topinski. Topinski is going to make one person miss, and then he is tackled by Ambridge's number 8, which is Grant Uvidich.
That's the second one of those plays that they've ran. A quick pass to the outside. The first one was actually thrown to the left side to Liam Straub. That one was thrown to Kyle Topinski. And they both won reasonable gains. I think 9 yards was the one to Straub, and this one was 7 yards? 6 or 7 yards here to Topinski.
Yeah, anytime you can get more than 5 yards on first down, you're going to take it. And let's see what North Catholic comes up with here. Prentice is going to keep the ball, and that's a pretty unbelievable interception.
I don't even know if he knew that ball was coming to him. That was a misread there. I don't know if it was by the quarterback or wide receiver. It looked like Joey Prentice was kind of waving his arms at who was that wide receiver running up there? Was that
it
that
looked
Jack
like
Fennel?
24. It might have been Jacob Valentine.
Yeah, because
and then Kyle Topinski was also in the area, and neither of them were looking at the ball.
There's a flag on the play. It was picked up. I don't know exactly what it was for. Nothing has been announced. Pass interference on North.
So Ambridge has a chance to put some points on the board here. They're down 34-0, but they just got a big turnover. And they're going to go right for the end zone. It's Harmon on the inside, and he barely dropped that one.
And there's that physical defense you were talking about from Arrington. He got his hands right in there at the very end because he was that Harmon, the receiver, had gone to the inside of
Harmon
Arrington
again.
there, and then he reached his arm in there and got, I think, deflected the ball at the last second, or else Harmon is getting in the end zone there.
So Ambridge goes through the end zone on that very first play, and they almost get there. But a good defensive play from Arrington, and it would have been a tough catch for Harmon anyway. 4:17 left in the second quarter.
So they've threatened the end zone a couple times. They had a couple big plays that got called back, a couple close 50-50 balls that could have gone their way. So let's see if they can finally get in the end zone here.
D'Aven Ivory back in the shotgun. He's going to be crushed by Daniel Long and intercepted by Gavin Commodi.
Oh, that's just a great play by number 31 and number 7. 31, he hit it as they throw it. It went right to Gavin Commodi. It wasn't actually directly to him. He ended up making a diving catch. He got tipped up in the air, and he made that great grab there. I mean, the blocking the lack of blocking rather from the Ambridge has been on display. And Daniel Belong just got through that in a matter of seconds to get on the quarterback, and that ball got deflected right into Gavin Comody's diving hands.
You could just see that coming when Long was unblocked, and the quarterback just kind of stood there. That was a pretty brave move by Ivory to stand in and try to throw that ball, because Long was coming in and coming in hard, and he got crushed. And unfortunately, Commody had more awareness than anybody else in that area. He was looking at the quarterback, and he was able to get the ball.
So I guess that answers our question if Ambridge was able to make anything out of this good field position, huh?
Yeah, first time they've had the ball. Maybe the second time they've had the ball on the North Catholic side of the field. And there's a timeout by North Catholic. And on Tuesday, September 7th, is the annual Trojan Open. Join us live from Treesdale Golf and Country Club as Alex Brown and Ryan Barry will be covering from the Orchard Course Par 3 9th hole. The Trojan Open benefits the North Catholic Tuition Assistance Program and continues our promise to make Catholic education affordable for families. Our coverage from the Trojan Open starts at noon on Tuesday, right here on the North Catholic Sports Network.
Yep, so me and Alex are going to be on the 9th hole, and it's a hole over water on the hole-in-one contest, so we'll get some fun broadcasting going there, watching all the shots, probably a lot of them splashing down in the water.
Yeah, I've never been to that course. Is it a hole where it's hard to get over the water? Is it like an island green or?
So it's not an island green, but like they're going over. It looks like a little pond or lake to get to the green, and so it's. I think they're gonna put the pin at the front of that hole, and so it's gonna be really really tough to get it there without getting it in the water. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing that. So make sure you guys tune into that Tuesday at 12.
Yeah, Tuesday at noon. Great golf outing benefit fundraiser for North Catholic. And we go back to the game. Prentice is going to make people miss, as he always does in the backfield, and gets set, throws to Liam Straub. And Liam, it looked like he almost caught it and then just like hot potatoed the ball backwards. Maybe he was thinking about making his move upfield before he secured the ball.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was just about to say that he's trying to run before he gets it in his hands. And that's the theme with, you see that at all different levels, college and NFL. They get excited, the ball's coming, they look upfield, and the next thing you know, the ball's not in their hands anymore.
That was some good old backyard football from Joey Prentice. I think he must be one of the hardest quarterbacks to sack on a passing play. Sometimes you'll see him get caught on a running play where a defender unexpectedly stays with him on one of those option or read option plays. But when he's back there passing, he's so deceptive with his pump fakes, and he has such quick feet that he's really hard to bring down in the backfield. Prentice, quick pass to Tyler Maziarz. He is tackled immediately by Cedric Seymour.
They tried to do one of those quick passes to the outside. Liam Straub tried to get that block down, but then it was just too much. I was trying to block 3 different guys because he had no help there, and they just all got right to the ball.
So North Catholic now with a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 15.
First one of those we've seen. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, North Catholic, I believe, has, other than that interception, has not had a drive end in anything other than a touchdown.
They don't need to be very aggressive here. I mean, they're up 34 points, but I think Coach O'Shea wants to be aggressive no matter what. So let's see what they do here. They got 3 wide.
And it is going to be a run for Jack Fennel. He makes somebody miss. He's going to cut up the middle. He is very slippery in there. He's only going to get about 7 yards, though. And that was, as you said, I would say a conservative call from Coach O'Shea, not looking to do anything crazy with a 34-point lead at the end of the second quarter, or maybe just trying to catch.
I mean,
Ambridge
Jack
by
Fennel is
surprise.
a speedy. I mean, he made like 4 guys miss on that play. That was a great run. I mean, like we call it conservative. It was conservative, but Coach O'Shea has to be thinking in his mind also, like, this kid can break free and maybe get a touchdown as well. So it's kind of like a half conservative, half aggressive type of play.
Yeah, anytime you can give the ball to Jack Fennel, it's not necessarily conservative, as he already has 5 touchdowns on the season. And it looks like a timeout from Ambridge before this kick return.
So is that Ambridge's 2nd timeout?
The Ambridge Cheerleaders, it looks like they've got maybe 20 to 30 cheerleaders out there tonight trying to fire up their student section. Of course, North Catholic with about the same number of cheerleaders out in front of the Trojan Army. And a good number of parents and family and friends have got here too to populate that away side of the bleachers. So as we come out of this timeout, it will be a 4th down for North Catholic, 4th and 8. Daniel Long, who does the kickoffs, is also doing the punting.
First punt of the game for North Catholic.
Back to return for Ambridge. We have Cedric Seymour and Fernandez. Fernandez gets it, and he's going to be tackled by the first Trojans that he meets. To your theory of what makes a good punt return earlier, if you flip that on its head, what makes good punt return defense? It's that first or second guy making the tackle and not letting the downfield blocking come into play. So good special teams defense that time from North Catholic.
I think that play also just showed the speed of the punt coverage team. I mean, 4 guys got on him. I mean, it's either the lack of blocking for Ambridge or just the speed of North Catholic to get around those guys and get to the ball carrier.
Yeah, North Catholic has done a good job, as we've mentioned all night, on special teams. Now they show that they can defend a punt of their own. Ivory is under center now. He's going to hand it to Seymour. And again, when they're in that tight eye formation, North Catholic is really dominating on the inside, and they're just not giving Ambridge very much room.
I mean, I think Ambridge should definitely try to spread out the offense more because they're just a compact offense has not been working for them at all. I mean, it's just putting more and more of this Trojan defense in the same spot, and if they run up the middle, it's just not going to work.
Ivory throws it to Harmon, and that's a strong hands from Harmon.
That's very good catch. I mean, Chase Arrington was trying to knock that one out of his hand. I think he had it in one hand at one point. It was Harmon, and he was able to keep that one in play. I mean, that was almost knocked out there.
And another penalty against Ambridge when they do something good. At this point, I just want to see the refs cut him a break.
I think they're just going to try to take away all their good yardage plays. I mean, you probably had up to like 150 yards that they've got taken back because of penalties. I mean, that's like what, a 40-yard pass, and then you got that like 70-yard play earlier that got called back. So they're shooting themselves in the foot on the drives that they've had a little bit of success.
Daniel Long again in the backfield. They're going to call that a fumble.
He's just shooting through the gaps. I mean, no one's blocking him. You think Ambridge would realize after a certain amount of time that he is getting through everywhere. I mean, to put 2 guys on him, but he's just eating up this Ambridge offensive line. To get in the quarterback, it seems like every single play.
Yeah, maybe Ambridge is going to start putting 2 people on him. This time a pass is intercepted.
Oh my, what a play.
Tipped by Straub, intercepted by Tyler Maziarz.
I thought Straub was taking that one to the house when that was going towards him, and then it was a little. I think he wanted Tyler to get that interception. He kind of tipped it up like in volleyball. Volleyball set to him.
Yeah, that's. I'm sure they still do this in practices. That's a tip drill right there.
It is.
And you don't know where the ball's going to go, but you're there, ready to dive either way. And great instincts there from Tyler Maziarz, who's a good wide receiver on the offensive side of the ball.
That's the second diving interception we've seen. We saw one by Gavin Commody, and we saw one now from Tyler Maziarz.
And the plays coming in from the sideline. Daniel Long also coming in from the sideline.
He's been everywhere. We said his name probably about 15 times this game.
Yeah, he plays offense and defense a lot of times for North Catholic. Just seems like an endless amount of energy out there. I mean, he was in the backfield again on the last play. The quarterback was rolling away from him. Prentice keeps it, makes the guy miss, makes another person miss with a stiff arm, and finally is tackled at about the line of scrimmage. There's these plays where he scrambles. He probably runs about 50 to 100 yards every time, and sometimes he only gets back to the line of scrimmage like he did there.
I mean, that was just like those shifty moves. I mean, I know he didn't get any yards on that play, but it's just fantastic how he's able to get out of those sacks time after time. And I think you mentioned the amount of time player. Actually, we'll let this play develop, and then I'll finish my sentence.
All right, I'll get back to you, Ryan. Prentice sends Daniel Long in motion from right to left. Prentice is now going to roll to his left. He's looking to pass. He fakes, plants his feet, throws to Topinski short, and Topinski's legs are taken out from under him immediately for a 3 or 4 yard gain.
So as I was mentioning, Joey Prentice, you mentioned, was running like 50 yards some of these plays, and then Daniel Long was on offense and defense real fast. I mean, it just speaks to the amount of conditioning that these players have to have in these games.
Yeah, it is really amazing how many players play both ways in high school, and there doesn't seem to be any most of the time there doesn't seem to be any like tiredness in the fourth quarter from those players. They really are just great athletes who really love to play football and want to get that out there on the field as often as they can. 3rd down and 9.
So if
only 20 seconds left here in the second quarter, so I guess we had a North Catholic timeout there.
So if this is the score that stands, 34-0, it'll be about the same score that was at halftime last week in the Hopewell game. 1 point short of that because of the mixed extra point, which we didn't even see, but it must have happened.
Yeah. So North Catholic calls a timeout. They've got 1 timeout remaining, but calling a timeout there with 20 seconds, you figure they're going to at least try to get into field goal range here. So I would expect a passing play here. North Catholic does have 3 wide receivers out there. Valentine, Topinski, Maziars, and we have a flag thrown at the 10-yard line.
These refs are throwing these flags from way, way back.
So it's got to be something formation-wise.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, I'm assuming it's on Ambridge because I don't know how that referee could see anything that North Catholic was doing on this play from his vantage point, so I'm assuming it's on the defense, but we'll see. Yep. False start? Called all the way, or not false start.
They just said penalty on the play was all I heard from the PA. So I don't know if that was coordinated up to the press box at all either. I mean, mystery penalty on Ambridge makes it 3rd and 5. Prentice gets the snap, pulls it back, throws way down the field. Maziars, just goes over his hands. It was hard to tell whether Harmon was going to get a hand on that ball. I think Maziars, he cut in the middle field just a little bit rather than just running straight, and I think he would have had that ball.
That's exactly right. I mean, he cut a little bit into the left. The ball was thrown a little bit more to his right. If he keeps going straight, I think that's a touchdown. And Joey Prentice, that is a cannon of that throw there. I mean, that was a bullet.
Yeah, he can really throw it far downfield. North Catholic doesn't pass a lot, but when they do, they really can chuck it way down the field if it's not that immediate short throw. Again, Prentice is back to pass. He throws it down deep downfield again. Topinski with the catch, and he's into the end zone. A 39-yard touchdown throw from Joey Prentice.
So the Ambridge defense got a little messed up there. They were covering I don't know who was next to Topinski, but they put 2 guys on him, and Topinski got left wide open running the end zone, and he made a great play to bowl that guy over to get into the end zone. So North Catholic adds the lead 40-0, barring the extra point. So let's see what happens with this. But they surpassed their point total from the first half of the Hopewell game.
Yeah, 40-0 North Catholic right now. Prentice, a great 39-yard touchdown pass to Kyle Topinski. Point after is right here.
Now that one was definitely good.
That one was definitely good. You were right there, Ryan. It was good. 41-0 in favor of North Catholic. With 6 seconds left, we're going to assume that's probably the final scoring of the first half. But regardless, a great first half again for North Catholic. All right, probably maybe just the kickoff left here in the first half, unless Ambridge decides not to field it and they want to run an offensive play. But probably this is the last play here of the first half. First half that's gone very well for the Trojans. They've scored 21 points in the first quarter, 20 points here in the second quarter. 6 different touchdowns, 1 on a punt return from Liam Straub, 4 touchdowns on running plays, 2 by Jack Fennel, 1 each for Joey Prentice and Chase Arrington. And then finally, 1 passing touchdown, which you just saw, Prentice to Kyle Topinski. It's a squib kick, and it's fielded by Ambridge, and their player dives right to the ground with 2 seconds left. So I guess we are going to get one more play here, Ryan.
He didn't want it to go to halftime. So they'll probably run an offensive play. I'm thinking probably go 4 or 5 wide to try to get something going. Maybe even a type of Hail Mary play. I know that he can't reach the end zone from here. Maybe try to get like a mismatch. And
just a long pass to Harmon, perhaps. I think there's a good chance that they just go and kneel the ball.
That's also very
and end this first half, and I think that's exactly what they're doing with D'Aven Ivory, and he does kneel, and that's going to end the first half. I believe North Catholic is going to get the ball first as we start the second half. I recapped the scoring for you a little bit there before that last kickoff, but again, there was 6 touchdowns from North Catholic, 4 rushing touchdowns, a punt return, and a passing touchdown. Do you have a favorite of those 6 touchdowns that happened in the first half, Ryan?
I really like that passing play because we haven't seen much of that throughout the year. I mean, last week he only threw 4 passes. I like that call. I mean, I like going to the end zone there, and that's why a great read by Topinski to find that open space and get in the end zone.
Yeah, and it was at the end of the first half too.
Yep.
It was like a 2-minute drive, and who knows when you're going to need a 2-minute drive in a close game. So that was a really good a touchdown to see. The punt return is always cool to see. You don't see punt returns every day, so that was pretty cool with Liam Straub. But a lot of great stuff for North Catholic there in the first half. Ambridge, they had some positive plays, but they were taken away by penalties. We are going to go just down to the field, where you're going to see the North Catholic marching band perform. And then after that, we're going to go to the Trib halftime show. And then Ryan and I will be back with you for the second half. So Ryan and I will be back in about 20 or maybe 20 minutes. And we'll talk to you more about this game that's gone really well for the Trojans then.
Coach Mason. The next group we would like to recognize are our Bridger cheer teams. Our Bridger cheer teams are coached by Pamela Francis, Celeste Rideout, Anthony Dandridge, Joe Rebenton, and Letice Kane. And our third and final group for tonight are our Bridger Youth Baseball team. Ambridge Youth Baseball is coached by Eric Vanyo, Denise Hill, Ryan Pitaro, Tony Garigi, Dan Dixon, Mike Podolak, Dan Briscoe, Mike Galvin, Chris Conover, Harley Ellenberger, Tim Abinanti, Jeff Shakespeare, and Brittany Hysaw. Once again, let's make some noise and give a great round of applause for all of our youth participants and their coaches. We are proud to call you Bridgers.
The band presenting our 2021 program. It was only a dream. Please welcome to the field the North Catholic High School Trojan Marching Band. Trojan Marching Band. We thank you for being with us this season, and go Trojans!
Halftime show on the Trib Live High School Sports Network from the Excella Health Mobile Studios. We welcome you, Don Rebel, Chris Harlan. Our get-together sponsored by SE Tire and Export Tire, your local tire experts. They work hard to earn your business. They have your tire in stock and can install it today. All the best brands at the best tire prices. SE Tire, Route 51, Bell Vernon. Export Tire, Old William Penn Highway in Export. Shop for tires online and check out their Google reviews. We thank them for sponsoring our halftime show. It's a tradition. Week 1, we talk about the teams to watch. A lot of people, maybe they tuned in week 0. A lot of people did. Hopefully more here in week 1 as we are starting to get our footing for the 2021 high school football season around the WPIAL, and they want to know, Chris Harlan, who the teams are to watch. So why don't we start in 6A? There's not a whole lot of teams in 6A, so this should be rather easy.
To me, I think it's surprising that Mount Lebanon hasn't won a WPL title since 2000. 21 years now since they've won. They haven't even been there since then. I think this year it could be their year. I mean, you're looking at a group here, a really good offensive trio and Joey Daniels, Alex Texa, Eli Heidenreich, and a coach in Bob Palco who kind of knows how to win some titles. He won 8 of them at West Allegheny. He's now in year 3 at Mount Lebanon, and it looks like the pieces might be coming together. I mean, they had a real good start last week against Bethel Park, and I think, it's possible that that 21 years might not get to 22 before Mount Lebanon gets back to a championship. But also in 6A, there's still the regulars, Central Catholic, North Allegheny, don't count out of Seneca Valley. There's still some depth there as we get down the stretch late in the season to see who will be in the run for that title.
Yeah, they played Mount Lebanon the final high school football game at Three River Stadium back in 2000. All right, let's move on to 5A, which has been, since the expansion to 6 classifications, probably the most competitive of the classes.
Yeah, and a team here to watch is interesting is Pine Richland. I think people have been watching them all summer, really. Ever since head coach Eric Kasparovich got ousted back in April, there's been a lot of uncertainty about that program. They're defending WPL champs, defending state champs. But besides having a whole new coaching staff, I think they also graduated like 17 seniors who were starters. So besides the coaches, this was going to be a new team, a new season. And here they go, into a season, and there's kind of a chip on their shoulder talking to those guys to see what they can do this year. But definitely lots of eyes on Pine Richland as they head into the year. But also Gateway. They're a number 1 ranked team in 5A. And they're also a new team, graduated a lot of guys. But they've got a couple of guys that transferred in too, and Brad Birch and Brett Birch, brothers who came in from Jeanette, a quarterback and wide receiver. A combination was really good. Also had a really good start last week in week 0. So Gateway right there at the top in 5A, and they're going to be tough to beat, I think. But then again, some regular names that we see. Penn Trafford, they've got a Wisconsin recruit in Cade Yacomelli. Penn Hills is there. I think the Allegheny 6 conference is going to be very tight. And North Hills and Moon both had good wins last week that I think kind of ups them into the conversation now in 5A.
Yeah, both were very impressive in week 0 wins. Both of them on the road. All right, how about Class 4A?
Another team that hasn't won a title in a while, Bell Vernon. Hasn't won a title since 1995. Again, it looks like, kind of like Mount Lebanon, the pieces might be coming together for them this year. First off, they've got a senior quarterback, defensive back in Devin Whitlock. He said this summer when I talked to him that, his Leopards have been kicking on the door for years to try to get in, win a title. He felt like maybe this is the year that door falls over and they get inside and maybe win a championship. They've got a really good sophomore in Quentin Martin, another guy. He's a running back receiver combination who has all kinds of major college offers. So I think him with Whitlock, who's a 1,000-yard rusher, you're going to see a pretty good Bell Vernon team maybe make a run this year. But again, standing in their way in the same conference, Jefferson. I mean, they're always there. They've been in the championship game 6 years in a row. They've won 5 of the last 6 years. And with Bill Chilpack, that's it. And Bell Vernon kind of has to show that they can get past that hurdle. But also in 4A, is Aliquippa. They're an interesting story. A single A team having to play up to 4A. Whether that is fair or not, that's the PWA rule under their competitive balance. But at least one more season, little Aliquippa has to play against the 4As, and they're pretty good.
Made it to the finals.
They can play with anybody.
Yep, made it to the title game a year ago. 3A, 2A, 1A. When the halftime show, sponsored by SC Tire and Export Tire, continues on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Need new tires in a hurry? SC Tire has your size tire in stock. Install today. Before you hit the open road, see the tire experts at SC Tire. We do tires and we do them right. Before you hit the open road, see the tire experts at Export Tire. We do tires and we do them right. If it has wheels, we have the tires. Export Tire, your commercial tire headquarters.
Halftime show continues on the Trib Live High School Sports Network with Chris Arlen. I'm Don Rebel. Teams to watch so far, the top 3 classifications. There have been various teams. We get to 3A. There's one team and then a pretty large chasm before you start talking about others.
Yeah, I feel like I could have used my notes from last year to have this discussion. It's Central Valley. The question last year and this year, can anybody beat Central Valley in 3A? A year ago, nobody could. Nobody in the state could. They rolled their way to the finals. They won their first state championship, and they're back. Look, last week, they won 62-0 over Knock. They're a powerhouse again. They graduated a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of players, but they're good. I think they're going to be right there again. But when you ask who's next, that's the next group: North Catholic, Avonworth, maybe Elizabeth Forward. Will one of them be able to step up and be waiting for Central Valley at Heinz Field? That'll be the question as we move forward.
Class with the most teams is Class 2A. 16 teams will make it into the playoffs. Who are some of the teams to watch in 2A, Christopher?
I think one of the teams that's interesting is Stowe Rocks. They were in the finals last year. They lost to Beaver Falls, but they bring pretty much everything back. They got a ton of skill back. And you look, they've got so much skill that they've got a junior in Josh Jenkins, who's a wide receiver quarterback. he's their quarterback. Sometimes they put him out at wide receiver because they've got another guy who can play quarterback. And he caught 2 touchdown passes in week 0. So they have an abundance of talents. Leroy Johnson, their coach, kind of has them moving in that direction. I don't think anyone would be surprised to see them in the championship this year. But when you look beyond them, Beaver Falls is still there. They were the champions last year. Sarah Catholic, they're hunting for their first title since 2007. So, like you said, it's a big classification, a lot of teams, and it'll be a good tournament once you get there.
All right, finally, Class A. Jeanette, we thought after they beat Clareton last year that they might be starting a little bit of a championship run. Probably won't be the case with all the defections. They're going to, in all likelihood, struggle, but still, Jeanette is always Jeanette, and they will compete. So that opens the door, and the team they beat in the finals is probably where you start.
Yeah, and that's it. You look at that last year's matchup, Clareton, Jeanette, you could pencil them in so many times. Clareton, they've been there they're looking for their 6th time in 8 years, trying to get back to a championship game. When you look at to see who might be there to face them, maybe a Rochester, you look at a California, maybe a Springdale or Shenango. With Jeanette kind of taking that step back, I think that opens that window up to one of the schools to maybe get to the finals. But there's a long way between now and then. We'll see how they do all season long. Definitely teams to watch.
Yeah, and the horn sounds, thus ending this edition of the halftime show. Sponsored by SC Tire and Export Tire, your local tire experts. They work hard to earn your business. They have your size tire in stock, installed today. All the best brands at the best tire prices. SC Tire, Route 51, Bell Vernon. Export Tire, Old William Penn Highway in Export. Shop for tires online and check out their Google reviews. Teams of the week this week. Chris and I next week will take a look at some of the top players around the WPIL to watch in the 2021 season. Enjoy the second half of the game you are tuned into here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to the Mo Rubenstein Stadium. We are North Catholic Trojans are leading the Ambridge Bridgers by the score of 41-0. But first, let's before we get you back to the action, let's recap where we've been. 21-0 at the end of the first quarter in favor of the Trojans. They got out early and they scored quickly. Their first drive on offense, they ended up getting great field position off of a blocked punt. They got the ball at the 3-yard line and shoved it in real quickly. The main things we talked about in the pregame show in Trojan Game Day, what was the run game? The run game and doing the little things right. They've done the little things right. They've gotten out scoring quickly and early. They've gotten the punting down. They've got a punt return touchdown by Liam Straub in the first quarter. They've gotten the things done that they've had to do to be up in this game. They haven't given Ambridge anything to cheer about. 41-0, this game is as good as over. But now here's the tricky part. You have to play with a lead. Now the Trojans have to play smart, play healthy. You cannot risk injury in this game. And now we'll find out how they play with the lead. With that, let's send it back up to the booth to Sean and Ryan.
All right, thank you, Alex, for that recap of the first half. We are just under a minute away from resuming action here in the second half. Again, this is Sean Malone alongside Ryan Berry for the North Catholic Sports Network, and we are partnering with the Trib Live High School Sports Network this year. Alex gave us a glowing report of the North Catholic first half there, Ryan. I'm going to flip that a little bit. Is there anything that you could find to critique from the Trojan first half? What could North Catholic improve on?
Well, one of the things that I think they can prove on was tackling. It wasn't as good as it needed to be. A couple times that the Ambridge players get around the corner, get that extra move to get those extra yards. You got to make sure you wrap them up and you bring them down. For the most part, I think they did okay with that, but there are a couple times where they definitely could have got somebody down a lot quicker and not let them get those extra yards.
Yeah, Cedric Seymour, we've mentioned his name a couple times. He's been very, very good when he's had the ball with any sort of space for the Bridgers. But most of the time they haven't had much space because the defensive line for North Catholic has just been outstanding. A rotating cast of Daniel Long, Lucius Marbella, Dante Prentice, Tyler Primrose. Well, I don't think we said Tyler Primrose's name tonight, which is weird because he is a dominant defensive player. Maybe Ambridge has noticed that and has tried to go more at Daniel Long's side, but they're finding out that that's not a good idea either. Daniel Long probably had the best first half of any player defensively for the Trojans.
If I could pick one player of the game so far, it's definitely been him. He's been an impact on both sides of the ball, but most specifically rushing the pass. I mean, he had that one quarterback hit that knocked the ball and went right into Gavin Comody's hands. I mean, he's just been a menace on defense all night, and it's just been fun to watch him, what he's been able to do against this Ambridge offensive line.
All right, now the time has run out on halftime. Teams are going to take the field, and we're going to start. On the field at halftime, there were the two bands, North Catholic Band and the Ambridge Band. I'm going to have to do some homework before our next broadcast to figure out what music the North Catholic Band is playing. It was a really interesting show, wasn't it, Ryan?
It was. I mean, they brought out a bed and a mattress on. There was someone sleeping in it half the time. Then they woke up and started waving the I guess it's just called a flag. I don't know if there's a special name.
Yeah, it was like a one-person color guard.
Yeah.
And she had the flag as she got up out of the bed that they rolled a bed on the field.
Yeah, and it was also in like an unusually long halftime show. It was 30 minutes, and I don't know have they ever been that long? I'm not sure. I didn't
there was
do the
a lot of
games last
stuff.
year,
There was two bands. There was junior teams being honored, junior cheerleaders being honored here at Ambridge. But that 30-minute halftime is now over, and we get to start the second half. The ball is away. And it is received. It's a short kick that looks like J.D. Butler, and he gets hit pretty hard by the Ambridge player there. I think that was number, it looks like 50 for Ambridge, and number 50 for Ambridge is Luis Zapula.
Yeah, and that ball was not supposed to go to number 80. That was a miss hit on that kick, and it didn't look like he was really expecting it, and so the blockers weren't there, and so he got rocked very quickly. I mean, he ran 5 yards, and then he just got met with a wall of gray.
Yeah, Zapula is a defensive and offensive lineman for the Bridgers out there on special teams, putting a pretty good lick there on Butler, who did a nice job hanging onto the football. Prentice gives it off to Arrington. Arrington to his right. We see a flag. Arrington is brought down for a first down.
It looks like it might be a holding call on North Catholic.
Yeah, that was definitely the area of a holding call. And we've got some Ambridge coaches up here, and they were yelling for a lot of holding calls in the first half. And maybe they finally got one there.
So that brings them back 10 yards to it. We'll go to a 2nd and 10. Or 2nd and 20, rather.
Yeah. This game started with some pretty blinding sunlight coming into the booth. The sun has since set, and it is just a wonderful temperature out there. It really feels like great, fall. Now that the calendar has turned to September, it's fall, it's football weather. It's one of my favorite times of the year.
It's football season, and it feels different when it turns September 1st. Now with it being September 2nd, I mean, it just feels different. It's football weather.
I think it's actually September 3rd, but that doesn't matter that much as the ball is handed off to Arrington, and he's going to get just about all of those yards back from the holding penalty.
I'm messing my days up already. 3 days into September.
It was a long school week.
It was.
5-day school weeks at the beginning of the year. You kind of forget what day it is after a while. A 9-yard rush there for Arrington, who has split time with Fennel in the backfield. It looks like Arrington is still back in there now.
Is that Dante Prentice snapping to Joey Prentice there?
Yes, yeah. Tyler Primrose is normally the center. That's funny that you bring that up. Is Dante snapping? Dante is a freshman snapping to his brother Joey as Arrington gets about a 6-yard gain. And they're doing that because the Prentice brothers are from Ambridge, and they've got a lot of family in town tonight. probably in the stands up there. I don't know if there's like a Prentice section. Nobody's holding up like a Joey Prentice head or something like that. But that is pretty cool. Brother snapping to brother, kind of on their home field. So a cool moment for the Prentice children.
Yeah, on that last play, it looked like North Catholic was looking for people to block downfield, but there was no one to block. That's because all the Ambridge players are coming from, it seemed like, from the opposite side of where they were trying to block, and they just got wrapped up from behind Chase Arrington. But it's still a 6-yard gain, so
yeah,
nothing bad about that.
It was 1st and 20, and now it's only 3rd and 3. And Prentice is going to keep it, and he scoots up the middle, and he fights for the first down.
That's just a great run. I mean, it's just determination. I mean, getting past, I mean, it made a couple guys miss because he looked like he may have been stopped short, and he made a quick shifty move to the right and got that first down.
Yeah, sometimes we see him run around for 50 yards in the backfield, but other times he knows it's 3rd and 3. He really got low there and drove with his legs to get an extra yard or two after contact to make that first down. Great short run that extends the drive by Joey Prentice. This time it's Arrington to the outside to the right. He's got a head of speed up. Tyler Maziarz is giving him a block, and Ambridge finally catches up to him.
2 players on that play I want to mention. Kyle Topinski had a great block, let him get even more to the outside, and at the end of that, he got a couple of extra yards because of the blocking by Tyler Maziarz, as you mentioned.
And Stacy Jones put a pretty good hit on him on the end out of bounds.
Flag. Tyler Maziarz is pointing to the Ambridge side. There hasn't been an official signal yet on the flag.
Tyler Maziarz is a pretty demonstrative player out there.
It is all North Catholic.
He really moves his hands a lot. It looks like he trash talks a lot out there. At least he talks to people on the other team.
It's probably not the friendly kind of talking either.
I don't know. There was a play where it was one of the good runs that Ambridge had that was up the sideline, and the running back got up after he made a couple people miss, and Maziarz kind of patted him on the back and said a few things to him as he was running. I have no idea what they're saying down there, but Maziarz really likes to talk. When the band was playing, he was dancing in the backfield in the first half. He really looks like he's having fun out there.
Yep, and why wouldn't you be having fun up 41-0?
Yeah, I think that's actually the first time we've said the score this half.
Yeah.
Not very good for, not good announcing protocol. Thanks for saving me there, Ryan. 8:36 left in the third quarter, 41-0. That score is held up for the first half. Handoff to Jack Fennel. Jack Fennel is trying to bounce it outside, and now he's trying to bounce it back the other way, and he's got room. Let's see if he can get to the edge. And he gets a very exciting 10 yards, but there's 2 flags in the field.
There are 2 flags, but let's just focus on the good from that play. Number 31, Daniel Long, made a great block there as Jack Fennel was coming back to the right side. I don't know if that's what was gotten called, but that was the reason that Jack Fennel was able to get up that field. But Jack Fennel, I mean, he made, 3 guys miss. You feel like every time he touches the ball, even if he loses yards on a play, you feel like he's still making guys miss.
Yeah, he's just so quick in small spaces. He can stop on a dime and then start up again just as fast. And it's so hard as a defensive player to tackle people like that. If you're too aggressive and you guess wrong, you're going to look foolish and just fly past him and land on the ground. If you're too conservative, you're going to get stuck, and he's going to beat you because he's quicker than you.
Yep, and it was a block in the back by North Catholic. It might have been Daniel Long as Fennel was shifting back to the right side. But now it's another long down here for North Catholic.
Yeah, 1st and 15. Throw to Topinski quick. He's going to get a little bit to the outside and almost bulldoze over a player out above the 40-yard line. So all of that lost yardage comes back.
A fake handoff there to Fennel kind of drew the Ambridge defense in. And then a good block by number 80 there on North Catholic. J.D. Butler allowed him to get those extra yards at the end. But definitely Prentice has been throwing the ball a lot more than he has last week. Only throwing it 4 times. I mean, it's probably up. I don't know if we got the exact number up here, but it's probably over 10, I'd assume, right?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely over 10. Probably inching closer to 15.
Yep.
And there's a high snap, but he gets it down, gives it to Arrington. Arrington, a quick burst up the middle before he's met by several Bridgers, including number 3, Benny Korklick.
It's just another burst of speed. I feel like you're talking about burst of speed all night with this North Catholic team. I mean, they started, I think it was 1st and 20, and now they're up to 3rd and looks like at about 2 yards.
And it's Arrington again. Just a huge, huge hole. Nobody met him until he was past the first down marker, and that makes gaining 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 pretty easy.
This has just been a very good drive offensively for North Catholic. There are those 2 penalties, but you take away those 2 penalties, they're getting these first downs. They started 1st and 20 2 times on this drive, and they were able to get the first down on both of those plays. So it's just been, just hard working on this North Catholic team.
And after that first down, as we go about 7 minutes in the second quarter, Joey Prentice has gone off the field, given a double high five to Coach O'Shea. Jason Sickett is in there, and he's looking to throw. Moving to his right. He's going to run now, and he's got a decent amount of room. Jason Sickett puts his head down, and it looks like he's going to get a first down.
It looks like he does also, and that's the one way to get in the game. Take a 10-yard rush, get hit, and get ready to the game. It looked like he had it looked like number 17, Tyler Maziar's coming back on like kind of a dig route, but then he ended up making a shifty move and getting by. And it looks like they're not giving him the first down, but to me, it looked like he got it.
Yeah, I thought so too, but it's second and very short. Sickett getting into this game pretty early.
Yep, 2 sophomores in the backfield with Sickett and Jack Fennel.
Yeah, Sickett and Jack Fennel. Sickett had a decent time running last week as well. I think he had a long running touchdown. But there's some miscommunication. Sickett is met very quickly in the backfield, and he's going to lose a couple yards. And he's still looking confused. He's pointing to his teammates. I don't know what the mistake was there.
It looks like, I don't know if it was a blitz, but like 3 guys got right through the offensive line. I don't know if it was not picking up guys but he got taken right away. And that was one of the first kind of breakdowns by the offensive line.
Yeah, and Tyler Primrose is back at center now that Joey Prentice is out of the game. Dante Prentice is too. So a cool thing there from Coach O'Shea for the Prentice brothers. Sickett is going to keep it again, and he's going to get hit before he gets to the first down. But
so it's going to be
even in the NFL, this is probably 4-down territory.
Yep.
You're inside the opponent's 50-yard line.
You don't
want
want
to 41 or 42. A punt is not going to do you that much good. A field goal is way too long. So this is definitely 4 down. Oh,
I guess not.
I spoke too early. We're going to work on our punting.
Yeah, they're putting Sickett right into it. Two QB rushes in a sack. They just wanted to get him a little bit into the game. They felt like he wasn't focused enough, so they decided to get him hit a couple times.
Yeah, he looked ready. He looked very ready, especially on that first play.
He did, yeah.
But they are going to punt. It's Daniel Long, and he boots it away. Back there
looks like a really good punt.
Cedric Seymour, but it's just going to bounce around, and it is fallen on by Danny Franco, number 20, inside the 20-yard line.
That was a good punt there. It looked like it could have rolled down inside the 10-yard line, but then it took a bounce backwards. Unfortunate bounce, but still a good punt there by Daniel Long.
I kind of wanted to see a Daniel Long fake punt run there because he's done everything else in the game tonight, and that's about all that he's missing.
He's the Swiss Army knife for North Catholic.
Yeah, I feel we should be at a running clock here in the second half, but maybe that stops on touchdowns and changes a possession, which is why it's not running now. But if this second half goes a lot quicker, that is because we are at a running clock, which starts at 35 points. And that Topinski touchdown at the end of the first half put us there. And this time, Ambridge tries to get to the outside, but Benny Korklick is not able to do so. More good defense from North Catholic.
Yep, Tyler Maziar's got there first for the tackle, and I think 2 of the Trojans joined him there.
Yeah, I think one of them is Tyler Primrose.
And I think Dante Prentice as well. I see 72 out there.
Yeah, Dante Prentice, a freshman starting on defense, is pretty impressive. So Dante Prentice, starting as a freshman, you got to think that he's going to be a pretty dominant interior defensive player by the time he gets to be a junior or a senior. And a quick pass this time to Seymour. He makes one guy miss, and then he's met by 2 more. Great team defense there by the Trojans.
Yeah, that's just what it is. They made one guy miss, so a quick turn, but then there were 2 other guys to back him up there and get him on the ground. So now another 3rd and long here for Ambridge.
Seymour, though, he just continues to impress me. It's a unique skill to be able to make that first-person miss, and I don't know if I've seen the first-person tackle Seymour all game. And I love players like that because it's just so much fun to watch them try to move around those defensive tacklers. Chris Ciccone is now playing quarterback for Ambridge. We've seen him, I think, return a couple of kickoffs, but he's in there for DeAven Ivory. Ciccone gets a low snap. He's looking to pass. He throws it short to Korklick. Korklick is trying to stiff arm his way forward, but he is tackled by Topinski and Mitch Lanthaler.
You're talking about Tyler Mazza was kind of being a talker. I mean, he helped number 3 there up. Number 3 for
that's Korklick.
Ben Korklick. I mean, he helped him up, patted him on the back after he kind of got thrown out of the bounds a little roughly by Kyle Topinski there.
Yeah, you wonder what he's saying there, and he just held out his hand there forever.
Yeah, for a while until he finally took it.
Yeah, we should. You and Alex have got to talk to him at some point. .225 left on the clock. Here's the punt. It is away, and it's a pretty short punt, but it's going to bounce a little bit, almost to the 50-yard line, 48-yard line, and that's where North Catholic will take over when we come back. And now the clock is stopped. So I guess it does stop on change of possessions. It was running there for an extra 4 or 5 seconds.
I mean, this has been a really fast quarter so far. Only 2 minutes left. Still 41-0 North Catholic. It looks like they have a tall order if they want to get back up to what they had last week in the scoring-wise, but they were able to do it a lot. I mean, they have to get a score pretty soon if they want to match that total. And Jason Sickett, quarterback for North Catholic, has gone in a lot sooner than he did last week against Hopewell.
And in the backfield with him is Blake Primrose, who's going to be, I guess, the third-string running back for North Catholic. In there with Jason Sickett and 3 wide receivers. This time, Sickett is going to look to pass. A kind of a quick shovel pass that time, and it's incomplete. He tried to hit Chase Aguglia there.
A lot of sophomores on the field right now for North Catholic, trying to get him playing time because who knows what happens later in the year if someone gets hurt, and you need that extra depth. That could come in handy getting them this playing time earlier in the season.
Yeah, Danny Franco is in there at wide receiver as a sophomore, and of course 2 sophomores in the backfield. It looks like to me that the starting offensive line has stayed in the game.
It has stayed. It looks like it has stayed the same.
And they've been so dominant that should give all of these sophomores a chance to be successful. But a bad snap there. Sickett is going to have to turn around and fall on it. And North Catholic moves backward on that play, and it's going to be 3rd and long. Oliver Gibson is now in the game as the center. So he has taken over for Tyler Primrose after that botched snap. And I wonder if this is it's an interesting move to me. You just take the center out immediately after the missed snap. Maybe Gibson is used to working with Sickett in JV games.
Timeout North Catholic. But they had her set up in a 4 wide. I don't know how often we've seen that this half, but they had brought Liam Straub on and put him in the wide receiver.
Yeah, 3rd and 17 when we come back. Only 12 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. This 3rd quarter has just flown by because of that mercy rule, which comes courtesy of a really dominant North Catholic first half as they are up 41-0. Ryan, what do you think a bridger is?
A bridger. I have no idea, actually. I don't know. It's very creative name, sarcastically. Ambridge Bridger is used 4 or 5 of the letters from the name of this town or whatever. I don't know. What do you think it means?
I mean, it could be somebody who works on a bridge. It could just be someone who lives in Ambridge.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's what they call the residents here, the bridgers.
It's going to be a screen pass to Primrose, to
Aguglia. Or no, that's Primrose.
Yeah, that is Primrose, and he's going to get real close to that first down marker.
Wow, that's the first time we've seen that all year, I think, a screen pass. That's a good call there. Maybe that's something that Sickett is comfortable with and likes doing. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're running it here, or maybe they're just trying new plays in the second half. And he's 1 yard short of the first down, it looks like.
Yeah, 1 yard short, and
they got to go for this one, right?
Was that another timeout? Oh, no, it's the end of the quarter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You think that they're going to go for this one, fourth and 1? They didn't go for the last one, but it's a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, the last one was a little bit longer. I mean, the argument for punting here is that you're up 41-0.
Yep.
The argument for going for it is you got to get these kids experience. It's a 4th and short play. Like, this is a time for whatever offensive linemen are in the game to stand in there and push the Ambridge defensive line back and show that they can get a short yardage situation. And I'm sure, I bet Ambridge almost wants North Catholic to go for it here because it creates an element of drama that is normally missing in a 41-0 game in the second half, right? Here's a play, 4th and 1, like something. This play means a little bit right now, right? For Ambridge, it's a pride thing. We're going to stop you on 4th and 1. For North Catholic, it's a chance for the players on the field, some of whom we're going to see in the JV game tomorrow, to grow and have a clutch 4th down play. And it looks like Coach O'Shea is leaving the players in there. It's going to be Primrose in the backfield.
So it says 4th and 1 on the scoreboard, but it looks like that stakes like 4 yards in front of the first down stake. So I don't know what's going on with that right now.
Oh yeah, it was 4th and 1. Did they set it up wrong? And Sickett keeps it when he maybe should have pitched it, and he's going to be caught short of the line.
There's a lot of cheering going on in the North student section. I don't know exactly what's going on down there. I don't know.
Maybe something the cheerleaders are doing.
Oh, I see Alex over there. It looked like he was doing what we were going to do before the game. He has the Ambridge helmet and the North Catholic helmet. So it looks like he is holding up the North Catholic one to get in the cheers and holding up the Ambridge one, and that's why he gets a little bit of the boos.
That's a pretty cool thing to do.
He got that from Lee Corso in College Game Day, I think.
All right, yeah, very cool. So Alex Brown, our intrepid sideline reporter, down there firing up the student section, even on a play that was negative for North Catholic. So they're down there having a really good time still, enjoying this 41-0 lead. With that play there where we see, well, I'll talk about it after this play. That's Ciccone throwing it over the head of Fernandez for no gain on first down. That play there just makes me appreciate how good Joey Prentice is at running this offense. Because Primrose, you could see a lot of green in front of him, and Sickett kept the ball and was immediately met by 2 defenders. And I just feel like Prentice rarely makes a mistake on those types of plays.
He's very good pocket composure. Like he even when he sees the pressure coming on, he doesn't panic. He looks to where green space is, see if he has any options, and just tries to get whatever he can out of it. And I think that just comes with veteran experience. I mean, he started for a long time at North. So. Yeah,
I mean, last year was his first year starting. He was behind Zach Rocco his first 2 seasons, who was a pretty good quarterback. And there's one time where North Catholic catches Cedric Seymour in the backfield, which has been a pretty rare occurrence. But that's a big loss on that running play, and it's going to be 3rd and probably 16 or 17.
Yeah, that was a really good tackle there by Julian King. He grabbed him by the jersey and would not let him get any more yards out of that.
Yeah, Julian King, second time his name has come up. You praised one of his blocks on the long punt return by Liam Straub. Yeah, Julian King is in there at the defensive end position, replacing either Tyler Primrose or Daniel Long, who've both taken the night off for the rest of the night, I think. And boy, making a lot of people miss there.
Jeez,
the quarterback, Ciccone.
It looked like Sickett was going to come in there for the flying tackle, and then he did a little juke to the right. The Sickett went flying by it. It was the final tackle there by Primrose. I saw him get up around where it happened, but I don't know for sure if that was him.
Yeah, probably Blake Primrose, and I think they also said Prentice at the PA. We're under 9 minutes now here in the 4th quarter. Again, this quarter is also going to go pretty fast. Fourth and 11. It's a punting situation for Ambridge. The punt gets off this time, and that maybe kind of a mock cheer from the student
Yeah.
section as a punt goes off in front of them.
And it was almost blocked by the number 64 there. He dove at the last second. That's Lucius Marbella. So there's a flag on the play also. A rare occurrence for this game.
I was going to say, we've said that far too much
Yeah.
tonight. It really takes away the flow of the game when you have all these flags and
Yep.
stoppages.
I was looking at number 77 on Ambridge jersey. He has a yellow sleeve on the left shoulder and then I think a pink sleeve on the right shoulder. So I don't know exactly what that's for because I don't see anybody else on the team with that. I guess it's just the shirt that he's wearing under, but a little weird of a color choice there.
Yeah, if the shirt is yellow on one side and
Yeah.
pink on the other. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of meaning behind the outfield or behind the outfit. I'm not sure. North Catholic will resume offense here. 8:18 left in the game. North Catholic, that same 41-0 lead that they had at the end of the first half. North Catholic will have Sickett at quarterback, Primrose to his right now. 3 wide receivers, Franco, Commodi. I can't tell who's split far left right now. And then in there at tight end is Chase Agulia.
Commodi, I feel like, has made a pretty big impact on this game. He had the interception, and he's playing a pretty good, solid game so far.
Yeah, so maybe they'll give him a chance on offense. Sickett does pretty good there, gets 8 or 9 yards. That time, he really made the right decision on the option. There was players collapsing on Primrose, and he had some room to get a really positive gain on first down. And Sickett's been able to get some good gains. It's just there's been negative plays. There was a missed snap.
Plays.
There was
that's
tackles
one of the things
in
that
the
we didn't
backfield.
see earlier in the game, and at least the first half with Joey Prentice. I mean, I think there was one time where I think it was a negative 1 yard run, and even on that run, he had to make some shifty moves to even get back to that 1 yard. So, but Sickett, he's had some nice gains, but sometimes the D line has got to him and dropped him for a little bit of a loss.
Overall, though, definitely positive yardage for him, I would think. Maybe some miscommunication. He looks like he's going to run to the sideline. He stops, and he's going to get hit.
Yeah, that one was supposed to be a fake handoff there, and the running back, I think it was number 5, Blake Primrose, might have ran the wrong way on accident. Oh, I don't know. It was just a miscommunication by the running back and the quarterback there, and Sickett was left out to dry, but you give him a pat on the helmet, and all was forgiven.
Yeah, Montez Wellens came up on the quarterback, sprinted up from his cornerback position to make sure Sickett couldn't get that corner. It looked like he might get to the edge at first, but great closing speed from Montez Wellens. Now Sickett throws deep, and Franco was wide open when Sickett overthrew him by maybe 2 or 3 yards. That was a touchdown waiting to happen that unfortunately is just going to be a punt.
Franco blew by those 2 defenders. There were 2 guys chasing after him. If that one's placed perfectly, it's an automatic touchdown there. It is one of the tougher throws to make because they haven't made one of those longer throws in this game. So one of those coming up. I mean, first kind of deep throw he's made all game. So maybe a little bit of rusty with the arm, but.
And who knows, that could be one of the last offensive plays for North Catholic with under 6 minutes, 5:40 running clock. You figure that if Ambridge could get a first down, they might be running out the clock the rest of the game.
It looks like the North Catholic will be forced to take a timeout here.
I mean, they're just going to take the 5-yard penalty.
Well, it looks like actually they took a timeout. Let's see what the announcement is. Or no announcement.
It did look like a timeout. The
Yeah,
ref pointed towards North Catholic's end, making the timeout signal. And North Catholic's timeouts have gone to 0 on the scoreboard. What do you think the purpose of this timeout is, Ryan?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I guess they try to take some time off the clock, but I think maybe they're a little bit confused after having to go right to the punt team. I don't know. It looked like they weren't in perfect position, but it also looked like they weren't trying to get in position. So maybe the plan all along was to let it run down, take the timeout.
Maybe they had to, roust Daniel Long from his sleep on the bench or something. You know, he got taken out of the game. They didn't think he was going to come back in. Daniel would never sleep during a football game.
That actually...
but it did seem to take him a while to get onto the field. Maybe they're setting up a fake punt.
Oh,
we haven't seen that yet. I'd love to see a fake punt.
If Dan Long gets a fake punt conversion here, we definitely have to call him a Swiss Army knife. Oh, there's a flag on the play.
It's a pretty good punt from Long.
Yep, good coverage by Gavin Camodi. They're getting the tackle. I'm not sure what the flag is. I don't know if it could have been a jump by Ambridge there. I don't know for sure, though.
Flag on the play. Once again, 2 numbers that are hanging out there.
Flag on the play. An announcer's 4 least favorite words.
Yep.
Unless, of course, it's on a play that Ambridge scores a touchdown, which happened earlier today with Deshaun Harmon. He had that 72-yard touchdown taken away. Boy, this really could have been a different game. At least a more exciting game as we moved further on into
like the energy of that game, because was it only like 14-0 or maybe even less than that at that point?
Yeah, it would have been 14-7.
Yep.
And then immediately at the end of that possession, Straub had the punt return for a touchdown that made it 21-0.
Because if they get that touchdown, that completely changes the outlook of the game. Because instead of a 21-point lead after that, the rest of that drive, it would have been a 7-point lead, and then maybe they get some momentum on the side, get the crowd into it. Instead, it's I guess what you see now, a 41-0 lead from North Catholic.
Yeah, it would have been a 14-point. It was a 14-point swing there.
Yep.
I still don't think that North Catholic would have struggled to win this game. I think they showed that they were pretty dominant on the offensive and defensive lines, which makes it hard to make any type of comeback or to sustain a comeback if you are Ambridge. But I would have liked to have seen what North Catholic would have done if they took a double, like a 2-score lead and actually got that lead cut to 1 score. Like how do you respond?
It would have been their first, I guess, little feel of adversity. Not that much. I mean, I don't know if you can really call it adversity, but at least a little bit of stress. I mean, only being up 7 and letting up a touchdown. I mean, they haven't let up a point all year, so.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ryan. That was a funny play there. That was Seymour again. He got tackled and then just tried to roll the ball forward a little bit. I don't know if that would have fooled any ref or what exactly he was trying to do there. But so far in 2 weeks, North Catholic is outscoring its opponents 103-0.
That's just unbelievable. I don't know what Central Valley was doing this Friday. I don't know who they were playing, but maybe North Catholic would take it over the scoring deficit for over Central Valley because they were tied after the game last week.
Yeah, both with 62 points. The leaders in AAA, as some miscommunication there from Ambridge. Their quarterback met and sacked in the backfield.
Another one of those high-scoring teams was East Allegheny. I believe they scored 42 points last week, and that's probably going to be the toughest game in North Catholic's schedule. That's homecoming game. Also, should be a really fun game, really packed game at the Mars Stadium. So that's going to be a broadcast also on North Catholic Sports Network and Trib Live as well.
Yeah, we thought that we were only going to be guaranteed to bring you 3 games this year early on in the season, which were the 3 that were at Mars, but we were able to bring you this away game at Ambridge, and next week Mars's field was double booked, but fortunately J.C. Stonefield became an option. So it's going to be a real treat to broadcast there.
Yeah, it's a nice stadium.
At J.C. Stonefield in North Park. And
good tackling.
Yeah, again, there's 8 Trojans around the ball on a 4th and 6. Stopping Ambridge with about 3 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter.
I saw Justin Greaser definitely had a big impact on the tackle. A lot of guys, you can't name them all, but that's just one of the guys that I picked out on that play. So we only have 3 minutes left in this game. This half has gone a lot quicker. This half actually may be shorter than the entirety of the first quarter was. We might have to check that later, but I don't know. I mean, it's a really fast half.
You might be right, Ryan. It could be shorter than the first quarter. There's another backpedaling job by the punter. He gets it away. That's a good punt. North Catholic players better get out of the way.
Geez.
Boy, number 89 for North Catholic got struck right in the back by that ball.
And that ball was recovered by, looks like number 11 for Ambridge, and that is Stacy Jones, a running back and a defensive lineman.
Yeah, Johnny on the spot from Stacy Jones. Put yourself in the shoes of the North Catholic punt team there. How do you avoid that? How do you not let that happen?
I mean, I think it's just following the ball a little bit more, but I guess your assignment isn't really to follow the ball, it's to follow where the play is going. And everyone is kind of compacted in one spot. That ball could only hit any of those guys in that area. So it's not necessarily Number 89, was that Matt Clark hit?
Yeah, I think it was Matt Clark.
It was definitely not Matt's fault, but I think it was just him falling the play.
You got to have a lot of communication with the punt team there. Every team's going to have a word that they say that like the ball's coming, and I'm sure players are like instructed to move one way or the other. But as you said, that kick was so short and there were so many players down the field, it could have hit one of any 4 North Catholic players in the area. Just unfortunate there, and that probably means that we're not going to see the North Catholic offense for the rest of the game.
Let's get a turnover here.
Yeah, we're under. Well, I guess if we do get a turnover, we're under 2 minutes. We have another quarterback for Ambridge. It is AJ Gerasi, and he's going to hand it off to, I think that's Korklick, and he's met again by several Trojans. I think it was Tyler Cannon in there, as well as Matt Clark making up for his for the ball hitting.
We got some younger players in on defense right now. Eli Wentz, a freshman, is out. Jason Sickett, the quarterback, is also out in a safety position. They're trying to get the younger players in here, I guess, for the end of the game.
Eli Wentz is out at quarterback, cornerback.
Yep. Alex Jackson is out also, a sophomore.
Dante Tabaki is in the safety position. And there is an Ambridge player. Nobody really wanted to tackle him. That was Stacy Jones.
The same one who recovered the punt.
Who recovered the muffed punt. Stacy Jones is 5'11", 205 pounds. That's like I feel like a small NFL running back. He's a small, very, very big guy coming at you.
There's a lot of speedy players on this Ambridge team. There's some good players on the team. I think it's just the overall talent of the team that's kind of dragging them down in this game.
Yeah. And I think it's also the offensive and defensive lines.
Yep.
You got to give those talented players some room to run.
Definitely.
This is just a play to Jones again. And he gets about 5 or 6 yards after contact.
That was a weird type of handoff. I mean, as his clock ticks down, it looks like this game's going to be over. But he got handed off. It looks like only 1 yard past where the center's line up. It was a really fast handoff. But and now the game is over.
And as the Ambridge announcer excitedly pronounces Ambridge's first down, the game is over. It's a 41-0 win for North Catholic. Right? 41-0 win, as I said. Ryan, why don't you recap the scoring for us in the second half?
Well, I wish I could, Mr. Sean Malone, but there was no scoring at all. I mean, it was a fun game to watch. North Catholic, as you stated earlier, has outscored the opponents 103-0 in both of their games. So defensive dominance has been the theme, and offensive dominance, rather, for the Trojans this season.
Yeah, and Alex said this before he passed it up to us for the second half. He talked about avoiding injuries. Coach O'Shea got the starters out in the middle of the third quarter there. The offense couldn't punch anything through, but the defense continued to do a nice job clogging up the running lanes, defending the pass as well. And as you mentioned, North Catholic has pitched a shutout for the season. This isn't a soccer game where 2 shutouts in a row isn't that uncommon. It's hard to get shutouts in football, and North Catholic has successfully done it 2 games in a row. You were saying Daniel Long for your player of the game earlier, Ryan. Anything happened in the second half to change that for you?
Nothing really happened in the second half, I feel like. I think Daniel Long's still my player of the game. Just the impact that he made is, like, you noticed him. Every single time he was on that field, you're like, oh, that's Daniel Long. He's going to make a good play. And I feel like he produced on every single play.
Yeah, perhaps the only mark against him was 1 kickoff out of bounds, but he does everything for the team, so we might forgive him that tonight. Daniel Long was really fantastic out there tonight, as were many players on offense. The touchdowns, Fennel had 2 touchdown runs, Arrington had a touchdown run, Prentice had a touchdown run to go with a 39-yard pass to Kyle Topinski, and then Liam Straub with a 55-yard punt return. And I think the game really was maybe over with that punt return. We talked about that potential 14-point swing there as the Trojans gather around the 30-yard line for their post-game meeting and prayer. That just about does it for us here at the North Catholic Sports Network. We urge you to listen to the annual Trojan Open next Tuesday. You can hear Ryan and Alex see if anybody can get a hole-in-one But our next football broadcast will be Friday, September 10th from J.C. Stone Field in North Park. The Trojans will open the home portion of their schedule as they welcome Blackhawk. Catch the Trojan Game Day show starting right around 6:30 p.m. with kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. You can catch all the action right here on the North Catholic Sports Network and Trib Live High School Sports Network. For Ryan Barry, this is Sean Malone. Have a great night, everybody.
Any broadcast of this game is intended exclusively for the benefit of the North Catholic Sports Network audience. Any use, rebroadcast, or distribution of this broadcast without the express written consent of the WPIAL is prohibited.